How we doing, everyone? And yeah, of course, I've been hiding in the background here the whole time. And before I turn my camera on, just a heads up. What you're about to witness may shock and surprise you. Some of you may be concerned. Some of you may wonder, is Graeldon okay? Did something happen to him? Do we need to check in? Do we need to send someone to make sure that he's okay? Because Graeldon no longer has a beard. It's gone. Gone. Wojak no more. The beard's gone. It's gone. I shaved part of my head, Treaky. Also, welcome. What up, Treaky? How you doing? Oh dear, oh dear. It's a very different look. It's a very different look. How is everyone doing? Let's see, we got Gray hanging out, Spider Macho, Sander, nice to see you, my friends. Lucifer / People Call It Poetry, Amra / LM, A-Core hanging out as well. Good to see you, my friend. I think you missed the last couple of ones. You missed some good moments. You missed some good moments in the last streams. You're gonna have to go back and watch them. Luxie Wolf as well. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, looks like that's the crew today. Awesome. Spider Macho. Now I can say I have a bigger beard than Graeldon. I mean, it's pretty easy when it's invisible. Can you don't as well? Hey, how you doing, Hunter L? You'd like to imagine you only shaved it because of the Wojak comment. You know, I had a feeling someone would suggest that, but it is actually not the case. It's actually not. Tricky, I want to check in. How you doing? I was thinking about you the other day, my friend. For two reasons, actually. Number one, I'm waiting for your next video to drop, and I have no idea what it's going to be, and I'm keen to find out. But I also apologize because I've not been able to make your live streams recently. Although I see you've been playing through Resident Evil, right? Never played through those games myself, so I've been curious to like drop in the stream, see a bit of what it's all about. 'Cause it's always been a game that's been on my radar, but I've never played it. And the second reason is I found another YouTuber who does like short D&D skits, who looks and sounds very much like you. I need to send you a link to some of his content. You might not see the resemblance, but holy crap, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I watched it, I'm like, this could be Tricky. Tricky could be doing this right now. Like, down to the mullet hairstyle that you've got going on most of the time. It's weird. It's weird. Uncanny Valley kind of style stuff. Once a Wojak, always a Wojak. Thanks, LM. Appreciate it. Best of Volume 2 if we get enough clips. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd be excited to see that, A-Core. Those clips are always in a weird place for me because they're simultaneously extremely embarrassing, but also kind of hilarious. I love them. Next video should be a month out. Waiting on some stuff from Amazon before you get to film. That sounds interesting. Any hints as to what game it's going to be? Because your last one was Bionicles, and you've been alternating between something you want to do and something from FromSoft. So I'm guessing it's another FromSoft game for your next one. Hybrid Heaven. Oh, okay, no, I'm wrong. At least, I think I'm wrong. I'm not familiar with that game at all. Alright. So, today we are going to be jumping back in to some more Komorebi. Now, the next stream will not be Komorebi. We'll be taking a short break from it before we come back to it. We are going to play through all of this game. But for those that need a little bit of a recap, or those that weren't here last time, let's have a quick chat about what the hell Komorebi is, right? Komorebi. It's a gay, furry visual novel. Dating sim. That's what it is. We're playing it. Deal with it. The next FromSoft is after Hybrid Heaven. Gotcha, gotcha. So, quick recap on some of the core stuff. Komorebi. It's a phenomenon in this world where is the channel XP level 3? Yes, it is, I think. Let me check. Hang on. I linked some stuff just yesterday. Is it that guy? Let's have a look. No, it's not. Different guy. It's No Dice. I'll drop a link to his channel in the back, so you can have a look. This guy, I was loving some of his stuff. He's got some good skits. But he's only got 27,500 subscribers, so people should go and show him some love. This is the guy here. No Dice D&D. Check him out. Yeah, XP to level 3. I'm pretty sure I've seen some of his stuff as well. This guy I felt was more similar. Just down to like even like the speech mannerisms. Go check him out. He does some good D&D skits. Anyway, we were talking about what the hell's going on here. So yes, Curse Crackers will be coming again next week, and then we're going to wrap up Komorebi afterwards. Absolutely. Right. Who was that? It was the guy I linked in the chat. That's who you heard. Because of course videos autoplay the moment I click on them. Thanks, YouTube. No, is what it is. Alright, so Furry Society, overbearing tech corporation that's put in place a social credit system. We've travelled to a new city, we've been up to new friends, probably able to date all of them. We're only picking one. Chat voted last time. We're going to be dating Dante. So we're going to be pursuing that a little bit more in this stream. I think where we left off last time, we'd been learning a little bit more about the society of the Zeros, outcasts who are living outside of the city. They're not part of this social credit system, and therefore their score is 0. So we've been trying to see, like, there's protests and things going on in the city because they want to be able to be actually part of it. What else was going on? Yes, we'd managed to hook one of them up with a phone and actually set them up with a fake profile to enable them to actually access some of the services and things in the city. And one of the last things that happens is we were organizing actually going out for a night in a local bar and seeing if we can bypass security measures and get this guy in, because that would prove that we're able to circumvent the system. At the same time, there's massive protests going on in the city. I believe the Zeros are going on a hunger strike to try and get the overbearing Argus Corporation to actually take some action and make some changes. And we're still a little confused as to where we sit at the heart of all of this. I think where we left off last time, we just finalized the plan to get ourselves into the bar, and I think we're about to kick things off. So it's going to be interesting to see where it all goes terribly, terribly wrong. Did I miss anything, guys? Anything I missed out on the chat? Oh, there we go, Tricky. You have seen him before. Okay, that makes sense. All right, let's put our volume back up a little bit, because we know the voice acting is sometimes a little soft, but that should do the job. Okay. And yeah, all the gay fairies taking a toll on subscriber counts. Absolutely. Lost another 20 subs last time we did a stream. Let's see how many more we lose this time. Yeah, and I said Dante. Dante's the love interest for this time. Alright, let's actually pull up the game. Make sure that's working. There we go. Move the pictures in the chat around. Alright, I think we're good to go. So yes, alright. Those were our main characters we can see in the middle there. So we've got Isaac, Dante, Taylor, Clace, and the new guy who was called Zero got a new name that I don't remember, but I'm sure we'll be reminded of soon. The other thing we're doing, thank you to, shout out actually to LM and Spider Macho, have been keeping account of the number of times Komorebi has been name dropped in the course of the video, course of the game. So, going to be interesting to see how many more of those we get. Chiron was the name? I'll believe you on that one. Thanks, Spider. I'm glad people know the lore of the game better than I do. It's not that I'm not paying attention, I just have a terrible memory for games. Terrible memory for games, terrible memory for names and games. Yeah, I think it's been a few more than 4 times, Sander. Something like that. Maybe just a couple. Maybe just a couple. The other thing that happened last time is they actually kicked off a D&D session. Now, I'm pretty sure it was just meant to be like a parallel narrative. It's drawing comparisons to the in-game universe they've set up in their world of D&D to what's actually happening in reality. Not sure how much further that's going to carry on. We'll probably see a bit more of it after we get through this next major sequence. So, just a reminder what we've got on screen here. We are skipping some of the content. Up the top, these are the main scenes. We've gone through all of them for part 2 of the story now. Down the bottom are the heart-to-heart interactions for if you've got a special someone that you want to pursue a little bit more. And down the bottom are just some like extra content, text chat conversations, as flavor stuff as far as I can tell. We are basically going to be pursuing just the main story and just Dante. If you want to see any of the other content, go and support the devs. Grab yourself a copy of the game. Go and play through it for yourself. That's the best recommendation I can make. Best thing to do is to support the developers who are making content that you like. And these guys, doing pretty well so far. Alright. Whew. Anything else I need to cover off before we kick in? Or are we ready to get started on this? Again, last chance, make sure you got some snacks and a drink, because, whoo boy, we're in for some story stuff today. Sorry. Just took a big swig and decided to try and kill myself. Whoops. Right. I think we're going to be good. It's going to be interesting to see how well my voice manages to hold up for this stream, because I was feeling a little bit sore this morning. LM wants me to wait. Why? Why am I waiting, LM? What have you done? What's the emergency? What's the hold up? We better not have someone with a house on fire again. Like, once was enough last stream. Like, come on. We don't need more house fires this time. So that was just a really strange interaction. Here's Snitch, welcome! No, you haven't missed much yet. We've just done a little bit of a recap over what happened last session, and we're about to kick off and dive in. LM's told us to wait, so we're waiting. We're just gonna hang out. You know, you guys can tell me about what's going on. LM hasn't told me what we're waiting for. Yeah, hey Gray, how you doing? I heard you saying that your cat came back in. That's good. I was, you know, it's always a bit scary when your cat disappears for a while and you've got no idea where it's gone to. You just have to pray that they come back again. We had that issue happen when I was living in New Zealand, actually, because we fostered cats for a while, and then we had one panda who we decided to adopt, and they just don't do well with any kind of sense of direction when they're outdoors. So Panda is very much an indoor cat, in order to kind of like keep it safe. Plus, you know, we live in an apartment on like the 5th floor now, so letting them outside is kind of just a no-go at this point in time. So it's probably for the best. But when we were in New Zealand, we had a backyard and everything, quite spacious. But it was always just a panic if she got outside, because, you know, she'd climb up a fence, jump over the other side, and then just sit there meowing because she was lost. And mind you, this isn't like massive wooden fence. No. This is like metal bars that you can see through. So we could see exactly where she was, but no, there was a barrier in between her and home. So she's meowing, she's lost, and she needs someone to come and save her. Some animals are smart. Panda is not. LM, you're back. Perfect. I'm guessing you're all good. You told me to wait, so I was waiting for you. Are you ready now, Em? Are you ready now, LM? Hey, Theo. How you doing? Yeah, most cats have a great sense of direction. Some are stupid, some are not. Some cats are very smart. But yeah, no. Some of them are just not... Like, I think it's just a case of, like, if you've been an indoor cat your entire life, you go outside, you are going to be overwhelmed by the amount of space that is available to you. Imagine living inside a box your entire life, and then you find out that the universe is an infinitude of boxes. Some cats are smart, some others are orange. Absolutely, Sander. It's a well-known internet fact that all ginger cats share a single brain cell, and it's just a question of who has access to it at that one particular moment in time. Aiko, are you playing some Enlisted? Enlisted with your friend. He's still downloading. What's Enlisted? I know nothing about it. This is the problem. If you're gonna talk to me about like modern games that are coming out, I'm gonna know nothing about them, because the only stuff I get to play is stuff on stream, garbage, and occasionally some Final Fantasy XIV just to kind of keep me sane. It's a World War II shooter. I did actually start Heartwood Acor, but I picked it up on mobile. I got a little ways into it. Very, very grindy game is probably the best I can say about it. Although I've been tempted to go back and see if they've done any updates, added any new content or anything like that. But yeah, it was just an extremely grindy game for what felt like not a lot of reward. I got up to the area, where is it? You go Like right and up a little bit, there's another little like crafting area up there. Across to the left, you cross a bridge. You get to a section with like some skeletons. There's a cave you can go into. I got up to that area in terms of like on-level content, so I have no idea how much more there is after that. Can't remember what class I was playing as, like a melee fighter. Yeah, the Outer Bone Mines, that sounds right. You're playing Transport Tycoon, game that's almost 30 years old. Do I know that? I know of it, Sander, but I've not played it. But it sounds like a nice game to be able to like play in the background while you're listening to or watching other things. So perfect content to have on while you're multitasking on a stream. Especially a stream where nothing's happening other than the streamer just talking. Oh god, I don't know why you guys are hanging around for this, honestly. Alright, let's kick things off, because it looks like LM's here now, and we need to make sure that our counter is ready to go. Let's get started.
Experience culmination fragment. Wayfarers.
Hell yes. Wayfarers. We're forging ahead a new path. Oh, god damn it, I pressed the button and it was not going. What a way to start off the story. God freaking damn it. So, hi. We're working now, right? Yeah. Yeah. Right, stream's over, friends. Goodbye. What a way to start. And of course it's all narration. I can't even be like, oh, it's fine. It was other characters talking. It was freaking me this whole time. Well, I hope at least that managed to give you guys a little bit of a laugh. And I have to say though, that is one thing which does annoy me a little bit about this game, is there is no way to actually navigate backwards in the text. Like, even some of the crap visual novels that I've played on the channel so far, thinking like the Bunny Hop Dating Simulator, or even Conspiracy Girls, or hell, even, so actually all of them. All of the visual novels I've played so far have had the ability to view the conversation history. So I could go back and check it. There is, as far as I can tell, yeah, there's no controls. There is no way to do it in this game. Yeah, there's no text log. Sanada says, yeah, well, that's because all those crap visual novels are made in RenP, which has a message log built in. Okay, so they're not actually adding something in. They're using pre-built stuff. Okay, so we can't give them too much credit for that then. But actually, you're right, LM. I can go back and we can reload and we can do that again. Okay, but yeah, it should absolutely have a log. It's a bit weird that it doesn't. And Hunter L said, yeah, a lot of people complain about the lack of a log or a skip button when this came out. I absolutely understand that. You know what? In some ways, this also works because this has just reminded me that I wasn't recording either. So, you know what? Let's start that now as well. So, if anyone asks, we just started the stream. Welcome. How we doing, guys? We're recording now. Perfect. I swear to God, I am competent sometimes, but not this early in the morning. It's definitely not 10:30.
Experience culmination fragment.
All right, let's do this again. Round 2. In the zone. Thank you for choosing Argus, our future, your way. Right, yes, this thing's definitely still on. We're good. As soon as we enter the Wayfarer, we're asked to show our ID. Of course, we all oblige, except for Isaac and Chiron. I can see that their infiltration was already successful. The security guard gives us a nod as we each scan our phones. A picture of our face and name pops up, which it compares to us in person. Obviously, we pass, and a few moments later, we're officially in. It's an interesting sight seeing Isaac and Chiron sitting at a table. 0, breaking bread with city folk. Is this how things were before Komorebi? Back then, before the system, everybody could have existed in unity. Of course, that's just wishful thinking. I know the truth. The world was on the brink of an all-out war before the visions came. I guess there will always be conflict and social divides no matter what. It's almost like we're fixated on our need to be different or superior. At least that's the way Argus thinks, making the zeros grovel in the streets. I would never look down on Chiron, and even public opinion supports the zeros. Perhaps we're approaching unity for the first time in history. The sight before me only enforces that this peace is attainable.
Took your sweet time, I see.
There we go. So yeah, if I hadn't realized the mic was off, we would have missed all of that. That would have been very unfortunate. Stream just started, where's your beard? Surprise, it's gone. I do a magic trick, now you see it, now you don't. Alright, what's going on here?
We're not living in the fast lane like you.
Okay, I'm glad at least we all managed to get in successfully. I'm just curious to see where this all goes wrong further down the line, because there's going to be something they try to do where Chiron's fake profile just doesn't work and we get chased out of here.
Well, should I slow down? Nah, wouldn't be nearly as fun.
We all pull out a chair and sit down at the table.
So, you all want a round?
Hell yes.
I'm down.
What do you recommend?
A screwdriver would be nice.
Also, I love it how of the 2 outings we've had in this game so far, both of them have involved drinks. In fact, yeah, this is our 2nd instance of going out for drinks, and we've had 1 instance of doing weed and getting high. So, interesting game.
I don't know this drink.
It's like orange juice and vodka.
Oh, I wonder if Chiron's had exposure to alcohol before.
What's vodka?
That's probably a no. Like, they exist outside of the cities. They have their own society, their own culture. So maybe alcohol's not a thing for them. This could get entertaining.
It's like orange juice and happiness.
Not a bad description.
Sure, I'll take it.
Round of screwdrivers then?
We all nod, implying that it's time for Chiron to go. If he ordered and got ID'd successfully, then we'd be in the clear. It feels like such a risky play, but Isaac's confidence is contagious.
This better be a real drink. If you're pranking me, I'm gonna get you back.
I love the thought of that. Get a bunch of friends together at a bar you haven't been to before, make up the name of a drink and get them to go up the bar to order it, and just witness the sheer confusion. Beautiful, beautiful prank.
Cross my heart.
Hope to die?
I wouldn't go that far.
We'll see.
He leaves the table and starts walking towards the bar.
He sure likes a joke about Argus killing us, huh? Joking about serious stuff is a valid way to cope.
Yeah, it is. Humor is deflection. It is.
There's gotta be a better way. Yeah, I said valid, not the best.
The best way is a therapist, let's be real.
Speak for yourself, guys. I don't mind my life being used as a punchline. That is the most Isaac thing you've ever said.
I think that pretty much summarizes the character in one go.
Speaking of Argus, I have a question.
What's up?
Clace is looking down at his diary, but keeping it turned away from us. I can see his eyes scanning the pages like he's catching up on notes.
Remember that incident report you mentioned? Are you sure you didn't notice anything weird about it?
This was the incident report for where they left the bar, dropped the drink, it broke, robot came over to tidy it up. Nothing struck me as odd about that unless they left out some details.
Almost certainly.
Alright. Did you check out my profile?
No, I'd never snoop.
Yeah, snooping is bad. Wouldn't want you seeing all the mischief I get up to.
Well, now I'm curious.
You? Mischief?
It's quickly becoming my middle name.
We all look at each other for a moment, thinking the exact same thing. Gray, you've got pomegranate, raspberry, green tea, and matcha. That sounds delightful. Seems like a little bit sweet. Got that nice kind of green tea herbiness. Like, that's nice.
Wait, what is your name? I know it's definitely not Clace.
Oh, Clace is a stage name, like... that would be interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
No idea what their actual name would be. Can't guess just looking off appearance.
What is it then? Hey, don't pry like that, Dante.
Dante just got straight
Unless you
for
want
it.
to tell us your real name too. Hitting the brakes.
Dante's not your real name either? Is anyone here going by their real name? Is it just me?
Thought so.
I guess Dante isn't his real name either. Oh well, I'll still call him by his chosen name. They offer the same courtesy by calling me Delta after all.
I guess I was just curious what you saw. Did it flag me as my real account or my burner account?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting that. There's nothing that had popped up before that made me even suspect that some of the characters might not be going by their real name. Didn't see that coming.
Burner, for sure.
Good to know.
He scribbles down some notes in his diary. It's so interesting how lost he seems to be in that thing. Also, side note, love the background. Gorgeous detail, lovely use of lighting and colour. Just, the art in this game is just great. Delta's name was known not to be their birth name presumed whatever you imagine it is. Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense. Like, I assumed, like, Delta... Actually, no, I kind of assumed Delta might actually be their real name. It's a bit of an odd one, but it's not that unusual. If I didn't know any better, I'd actually find it a little suspicious. As a small silence ensues, I decide to ask him about it.
Oh, this? It's just for memories. You know, so I can look back one day.
Maybe we could take some pictures or videos?
Well, those can be spread all over the place. This is strictly private. For my eyes only.
I'm gonna bump that up just a little louder for you guys. There you go.
That's fair.
He's probably writing about how annoying we are.
It's pretty easy when you're around, Taylor. FYI, in case you don't remember, we don't like Taylor. He's got some good one-liners, but we don't like him.
Maybe how annoying you are.
You know, I wouldn't even complain.
Before the conversation continues, Chiron returns with a tray. As he places it down on the table, I get my first look at the screwdrivers. They were barely even orange. It's like a glass of vodka and a splash of juice. And that's how you know you're getting your money's worth. Because let's face it, what's more expensive here? The orange juice or the vodka? I was going to say it should be the vodka, but actually I've seen extremely cheap vodka. And I've also seen extremely expensive orange juice. So, yeah, that could be a bit weird. Hi, Santray, how you doing? Yes, this one is not in alphabetical order. For the live streams, we do community nominations. A little bit different, but the restrictions on it are that the games that are nominated need to have 200 or less reviews. So it allows us to expand out of the alphabetical order a little bit, but still look at some more niche or overlooked games. Gray said, not gonna lie, Dante, Isaac, and Taylor are such normal names, he just assumes they were their given names. You know, I have to agree with you there. Yeah, it is nice, Andrea, being able to play something just a little bit different, because there are some games that people knew were coming up in the future, but were potentially years away, and they wanted to be able to bring them forward. So this was kind of a way of being able to do that, but without also ending up in the position where people like, go and play all of the Assassin's Creed games. It means we can still kind of shine a light on, like a bit of a spotlight on some of the lesser known developers whose games maybe are good but got overlooked. On the other hand, it's also a way for people to suggest, quite frankly, torturous games for me to play. So if you want to have a look over on the channel, there is a playlist of all the VODs from the live streams. You can go back and watch them. There's been some good games in there, and there's also been some horrendous ones. Yeah, Larry's new wheelchair. I'm still waiting for people to suggest more random bullshit for me to have to suffer through, because let's face it, there's an audience out there that just likes to see me struggle. But I also 100% appreciate the fact that people want to share neat, cool games that they found, like Komorebi. Yeah, hidden gems in the piles of garbage, absolutely. How many more games do you think there would be in the number category? Saturate, that's a loaded question. Which part of the number category, do you think? Because I had a look, and let me put it this way. We have enough games in the number 1 section to last us about a year and a half. And that's with me grouping them together. So, I think from the calculation I did, we're going to be in the numbers section for roughly the next 10 years. We're going to be here for a while. Because I did the math, and basically from the very beginning of the channel, assuming a rate of 1 game per week, we would hit the letter A in 14 years. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of random stuff in there, absolutely. A lot of stuff that no one's ever heard of before. If you want to go and take a look at some of the stuff that's coming up, there's a game that I literally just finished playing yesterday. I'm halfway through writing the script for it already. It's called One Hop. Just go take a look at that and you'll get a good sense for the random bullshit that I get to play through and review. Great fun. I'm actually excited for the review video for that one because I've been able to get really creative with my script writing, and I think I've come up with some good sections that you guys are going to like. Like, it's nice to have an opportunity to just unload on a rubbish game, because to be perfectly honest, the most interesting games to talk about are either the ones down this end of the spectrum, where they're incredibly awful and you get to talk about all the things that they've done wrong and why and how atrocious it is, but still maybe call out some areas for improvement. Or you want to be on the other side of things where the game's awesome and you want to be able to talk about it and share it with other people and explain what they did well, why it's great, and why more people should be paying attention to it. It's the ones that fall bang in the middle that are actually the hardest to review, because a lot of the times they never do anything that's particularly interesting, either particularly good or bad, and it's like, well, what do I even talk about? It's just, it's a game. It did game things. Good on it. Yeah, some big rants. It's always fun when I can turn a game that took like half an hour to beat into a 15-minute video. Although, to be fair, when I'm writing my scripts, I do try and aim for roughly the 10-minute mark, but I never pad out my videos with just extra content for the sake of it. I'm never going, well, it needs to be a minimum of this long. It doesn't gel with me. It's like, everyone knows there are content creators out there that will pad out their videos to hit certain timestamp milestones because YouTube metrics and all the rest of it. At the end of the day, if I ran out of stuff to talk about for a particular game, cool, that's it, it's done. Nothing further. And if the script ends up being stupidly short, I will just combine it with another game to make it a video worth watching. That's kind of it. That's how my brain works. Sander, which number has the most games, you wonder? I'm not sure. It's either going to be the 1s or possibly the 9s. There's quite a few in that area as well. And yeah, the list of games definitely keeps on growing. Graeldon is way to review about 50 games from the 100 Cat series. Yes, and in fact, my plan for that at the moment, because it's coming up soon, is I'm going to try and divide them by developer. So we're going to look at 100 cats or 100 hidden things by this developer, 100 hidden things by this developer, and kind of group them together that way. So I think there's going to be maybe 3 videos that come into play for that particular grouping, but at least that gets it kind of like all done and dusted. That's my current thinking, but it really depends, as I've not played any of those games. I don't know what to expect. If it turns out they're all basically the same and all incredibly short, I might end up just grouping everything together, and then we're going to clear like 50 games in a week. And it's going to be hilarious because it means my stats that I do, like every video, is just going to get completely thrown out. Because so far, if you've been keeping an eye on it, it's roughly 30% of games that I've reviewed so far. In fact, I can double check that real quick in the background. I think it is about 30% are actually worth your time. Yeah, currently sitting at 29.3% of the games I've reviewed so far, which is much higher than I was expecting, to be honest. I was thinking, oh, you know, it would be 5 or 10% of games, because most people, if you would just ask them, would say, yeah, there's a lot of crap on Steam that's just not worth your time. So getting 30% is way higher than I ever thought it would be, and I'm just waiting to hit like 6 months of rubbish games. It's gonna happen at some point, right? Statistically, it's possible. Just waiting for it to happen. Hunter L is saying, I remember how bad it was when Steam Greenlight was a thing. You know, to be honest, I kind of liked Steam Greenlight because it got the community to vote on what they actually wanted to get onto the platform. It wasn't perfect. A lot of rubbish still got through, but I think it's a better system for curating content than just allowing anything and everything onto the platform. I think getting rid of that, or at least not replacing it with a similar / better system, was a bit of a misstep by Steam. And other than that, like, Steam's been pretty awesome. What was Steam Greenlight? Think of it as like a section of Steam that shows upcoming indie games that you can vote on to actually allow onto Steam as a platform to then purchase and download the games. So it was basically for devs to go, hey, I've got this game, I'd like to put it on your platform, please. So yeah, the community would vote on it. The ones which passed in the polls, had enough, like, got the right ratio of upvotes to downvotes, they would actually be, you know, brought onto the Steam store for people to purchase. It's kind of a sensible system. I still don't quite know what the reasoning was for why they got rid of it, but they did. Acor, hype for when we finally get to Autobahn Police Simulator. I know nothing about that. I know what the Autobahn is. I'm going to guess it's a pretty dodgy game, but I guess we'll find out when we get there. Sander, to be honest, it's kind of encouraging to know that about 70% of the games on Steam are kind of crap. Yeah, I mean, 70% of games on Steam are kind of crap? Yeah, they are. And I think it means that if you've made something that is quality, you can have more pride in yourself. And that's why I'm interested to see, like, where these stats go. Because it's very curious. Like, if we do get to the point where it turns out actually, you know, once we've got enough data, you know, we have to have enough games to pull from, it might go down to like 5 or 10%, but that means that as a creator, if you have a game that is successful, if it is actual quality, you're in the top 5 to 10% of game devs. That's awesome. That's a real pat on the back. Yeah, trolls were definitely a bit of a problem for it. Theo, you were playing through Portal the other day, and you want everyone to guess how many chambers you use the companion cube in. Good question. I haven't touched Portal in a long, long time. I'm guessing you're talking about Portal 1. To help me out, Theo, because I do want to have a guess at this, can you just let me know, as a reminder, how many chambers are there in Portal? At least give me a ceiling to work from, and I can work from there. Because I remember that the companion cube doesn't get... No, wait, it does get introduced fairly early on. It's not like explicitly called the companion cube, but you do use the cube to solve puzzles as of like chamber 2 or 3, something like that. 19 in total. 19 chambers in total. No, I'm sure you get the cube earlier than that. I'm sure there's like a simple chamber pretty early on that you just need to drop a cube onto in order to progress, because it's teaching you how to use the gun to interact with objects. I could be mistaken on that, like I could be misremembering. It has been years since I played it. Oh, you're right. Sorry, yeah, I'm getting mixed up. It's the regular weighted cube compared to the companion cube. Right. Yeah. That's where I'm getting mixed up. Thanks for the correction. Okay, so in that case then, I would say 3. 3 chambers where you get to use the companion cube. It is towards the end. I want to say you grab it in one, you use it in another chamber, and then the following chamber you incinerate it. So 3. That's my guess. So Theo, what's the answer? You also thought there would be 3. It's 1? Yeah. It's 1. Amazing. And everyone got so attached to it. Like, I'm pretty sure most people, when it got to the moment, spoilers if you haven't played Portal 1, but the moment where you have to incinerate the cube, a lot of people hesitate. They're like, but no, we love the companion cube. I love it. Don't make me burn this. Portal 1 and 2, both amazing games. If you haven't played them before, do it. Anyway, let's get back to the story here. We were talking about our screwdrivers. Glass of vodka with a splash of juice. Sounds like the best kind of screwdriver. Good value for money.
I told you they don't mind pouring extra.
Yeah, guess I'm off the deep end here.
Yeah, I still don't know if he's had much in the way of alcohol before. Grabs his glass and holds it up with a smile.
Ready to get this started?
What's the bet he just like tries to down it in one, not realizing that is like one of the worst ways to consume alcohol? Sander, you watch the Portal devlogs. The reason they gave that cube a heart and made the lore about it is because they wanted to do a puzzle where you had to keep bringing the same cube. But testers kept dropping the cube and getting frustrated. They had to backtrack and get it, so they had to find a way to get them attached to the cube. Ah, interesting. It's amazing how quickly humans can form bonds with inanimate objects. It's really incredible. Well, that wasn't ominous at all. Alright, on to the next scene. What's happening next? And also, I'm just waiting for the next fourth wall break to happen here, because that was still really creepy when Isaac did that before. And this is new music, I think. Santre, Valve are excellent developers. They still are making things, but they just can't count to 3. That's all. I don't know what more to say. Valve are great, they're just not good at counting. The screwdrivers are half empty by now, and I can feel it in my head. I definitely don't think I'd be drinking as much as I did at the nightclub. Glances are exchanged as stories of the good old days are told.
Didn't know you were that into cosplay, Dante.
Oh, Dante's into cosplay. Ooh. Well, that might work out in our favor.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's actually how I ended up meeting Isaac. He had a bit of a fanboy moment when he saw me.
Sounds about right.
Wait, what's cosplay?
Of course you wouldn't know anything about that, Chiron.
Costume play. Like dressing up as others.
Interesting.
Which brings me back to our discussion from last session. If humans dress up at conventions as furries, do furries dress up as humans at conventions? Very concerning. Hey Corolla, how you doing? You just jumped in for a really weird conversation. I am so sorry. Welcome. Yeah, if you haven't seen this before, quick explanation if you're planning on hanging around. This is a visual novel. Everyone in the game is furry. Everyone in the game, in terms of like the main cast of character, is dateable. Everyone experiences visions of their future, which are unavoidable, and experiences them on a regular basis. And there's also an overbearing tech corporation that's instilled a social credit system into everyone living in major cities. This guy on the left, Chiron, is a 0. He is not part of normal society. He is not part of the social credit system, and we've just snuck him into a bar. Also, we're drinking screwdrivers and getting a little bit drunk, so this is going to be interesting to see where it goes from here. Yes, a skin sauna or a flesh sauna. Furries dressing up as humans. There's something just strange about that concept. Like, a fursuit kind of makes sense because it's fluffy and it's on the outside of your body. But if you're already fluffy and you have to wear something tight over the top of it, you're going to be compressing all that down. It's going to like bulge in weird places because the fur doesn't compact in the same way. Hunter Earls, you are spot on. It would look like Willem Dafoe. Oh, God, that is brilliant. I love that. Absolutely love that. I'm sure there's other celebrities out there as well. There's just something about like the gauntness of Willem Dafoe's face. It's like, yeah, Yeah, that could absolutely be a flesh zoner. Anyone that you look at and go, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that's a lizard person. Oh dear. Great, can't really say anything about furries because your Sona is an eldritch god cosplaying as an angel. That's intense. I love that as an idea. That's brilliant. Eldritch god is like, I'm hideous, people know who I am as soon as they see me. I'm going to disguise myself as something that people love. But now they're asking me for all these favors and to like make their prayers become reality. But every time I try and make them a wish, like horrendous eyes and disfigured things start happening. But we've just passed that off as how angels look. You know, like biblically accurate angels could absolutely pass as horrifying eldritch abominations. There is a weird crossover there, and I'm wondering if that was actually where your inspiration came from, Gray. Lucifer, you were lurking until now, and the first thing you see is the comment. Yeah, excellent. That was a great moment to come back to. Oh no, he just sets people on fire and beats people up. Ah, that would be fair. That's pretty close as well. He strikes a pose, like he's thinking.
So if we traded clothes, we'd be cosplaying each other?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, not really. We're not fictional characters.
Time for a fourth wall break. Sorry guys, bad news. Just ... Yeah, the devs knew what they were doing here.
You know, sometimes it feels like I am.
Oh god, there's more layers to this.
Huh?
You know, putting on an act while I perform and keeping that persona going during interviews.
I mean, that's understandable. Again, reminder, Clace is a singer, actual celebrity, who is going kind of incognito at the moment and just trying to experience a bit of normal life.
Oh, makes sense to me.
So I could cosplay as Clace?
There's no way you could pull his stage outfit off.
I reckon I could pull it off in a couple different ways, actually.
Okay.
Wow, you're all so smooth. I'm flattered. But we were talking about Isaac's fanboying.
No, we definitely weren't. That phase of my life is so over.
Somehow I doubt it.
I can attest to that one. He was pretty timid by the time he met me.
I never actually heard the story of how you two met, though I imagine it's a low point in the saga of our universe.
I love Dante's sense of humor. It's pretty excellent.
Probably the lowest, yeah. I was working and he basically broke in the front door. All he said was, "Help me!" But that's all I needed to hear.
What happened?
You do seem to have a penchant for helping people in need.
Makes it easier to fall asleep at night. But yeah, a bunch of fans were chasing him down. So I let him hide in the back of my store and I drove him home.
And then they banged.
How did you know he wasn't just some creep?
Well, he is.
Fair.
But I knew his intentions were pure. And even if they weren't, I've got a bat in my trunk.
Like you could take me in a fight.
I couldn't. Hence the bat. Actually, it's still in my trunk, even today. So, make sure to remember that next time you cross me.
Sheesh.
Do you always talk like this? I mean, it kind of seems like y'all hate each other.
It's friendly banter. You'll get used to it.
Actually, hate is now a valid form of love.
Well, then I'm head over heels.
Don't worry, I hate you too.
Taylor blushes and the subject is abruptly changed.
How'd you meet Delta then?
Oh, we've been friends online for a long time. We were chatting on and off throughout all these stories. As soon as they mentioned they wanted to move, I invited them over.
One big happy family, huh?
I'd say so.
Aren't you forgetting someone?
He tilts his head towards Clace in an inconspicuous fashion.
Right. I actually met Clace through Taylor's stream. Figured I'd offer to house him while he took a break from work.
And then there's me.
I keep saying you'll bring a lot of stories to the table.
Trust me, you already have. We talk about you quite a bit in the group chat.
Good things, I hope.
Sure, let's go with that.
Am I allowed to join it, by the way? You've piqued my interest now.
I still love that the conversations between the characters do feel quite natural. They've nailed that nice kind of like conversational flow and the back and forth to it. Like, they're not afraid to take a little bit of time to get to the main plot points and the main discussions rather than just going headfirst straight into it.
That's a hard maybe. Let me think about it a little more.
All right, then think away.
He grabs his cup and chugs the rest of his drink.
Hey, y'all down for a game?
Hell yeah.
What'd you have in mind?
Well, there's something we used to play back on the colony. It'd help us to get to know each other better.
All right, here we go. Never have I ever.
Really? We played a game like that at the nightclub last week. I'm down for more, though. It's fun to learn all about you.
Hey, Budget, no worries if you have to be in and out for the stream. That's cool. Nothing much important happened since the start. Nah, we've been chatting away. We got distracted a little bit. Basically, we've managed to get into the bar. We've ordered a round of drinks, and now we're chatting back and forth and getting to know each other a little bit more. He grips the pen in his hand as he speaks, like he's ready to write more.
I'm game.
All right. I love that I only get one choice. It's just, I am so down.
Sounds good to me.
What are the rules?
It's pretty simple, but we can make it more interesting. How about I grab another round, yeah? You know, for punishments.
Sounds like a good idea.
Let me guess. We have to reveal private information about ourselves. And if we don't want to, then we risk getting blackout drunk.
Sounds like a normal drinking game to me.
Hey, you'll be spilling your guts either way.
Is it just me, or is the fact that spilling your guts is highlighted in red actually is kind of threatening? No? Just me? Don't like it. Don't like it.
Gross.
With a smirk, Chiron goes off to order us another round. I assume Isaac loaded his account with some money to spend. Maybe I'll get the next round. I wouldn't want him to go broke so fast. It's actually pretty cool how I'm learning about life on the colony. They even have games to learn about your friends, just like we do. In fact, I'm willing to bet that the game Chiron wants to play is pretty similar. I finished the rest of my screwdriver and await his return. Every minute that passes, I'm more confident that we're in the right. All of the zeros should be able to experience what we've given Chiron. Whether by Cypher or Argus's hands, it needed to happen. Ah, come on, really? We're changing scene already? That was so quick. So next scene has to be the game, right? It has to be. Mother trucker. Again. I swear to God, this sometimes just doesn't work. I can't even go back for that one now because I hadn't saved previously. So you're just going to have to deal with it. Hopefully you read it on screen. Alright. Thank you though, Acor. Saw that one first. Alright, that's 2 for this stream. There will be a 3rd because everything happens in 3s. But it seems like, technology aside, their culture wasn't too different from our own. So no matter what was about to come my way, I think I'd be prepared.
All right. Okay, this one's called Raise Your Hand. I'll explain the rules and take the first turn.
Okay. We all nod.
When it's your turn, you make a statement. Raise your hand if, and then finish the sentence. If the statement applies to you, you raise your hand.
Yeah, you guys can rewind, but you still won't get to hear what I said. Alright, I'm curious to see. We might be able to actually play this all together as a group. We'll see what they come up with and see if it's actually relevant to us, because it might be something that's only, like, in-universe. But this could be interesting to play along with.
Seems simple enough.
It's kinda like Never Have I Ever.
Called it. It's never have I ever.
Hey, there's a bit more to it than that, though. You get to ask a follow-up question afterward, like why someone raised their hand, or even why they didn't.
Interesting.
Great. Can't wait to be put on the spot again.
This could actually be a bit more entertaining. No cards to play by, so we can go for the throat by default.
Please don't.
Well, I think Chiron's stepping up to bat. How about we let him set the tone for all this?
I'm planning to keep it pretty simple, actually, at least at first, so I know you're telling the truth.
All right, but when do we drink?
I didn't think that far ahead. I just thought it'd make things more fun.
How
You're not
about
wrong
if
about
we're
that.
caught lying? Or if we refuse to answer the follow-up question?
I'm down for that. I'll just be sipping, though. Gotta take it easy after the nightclub last week.
Yeah, fair enough. We went pretty hard on the drinks last time.
And to prepare for the quantum leap. New Year's Eve is always a big day for booze.
Good thing I helped you carry all those bottles home, huh?
Couldn't have done it without you, man.
He holds his glass up before taking a sip like he's saying, cheers. We all do the same and then look over at Chiron. It was time for the game to begin.
Raise your hand if you think your visions are set in stone, like literally fate, impossible to change.
There we go. Called it. We can't vote on this one. We can't raise hands. It's an in-universe question. We could tweak it a little bit though. I'd be interested to know if you guys in the chat believe in the concept of fate. Is that something that you feel is something? Do you feel your future is predetermined, predestined? Or is it yours to do what you want with? We can approach it that way. Me personally, I don't believe in fate. Your future's what you want, what you make of it. Your choices, your outcomes, your decisions. For example, it's not my fate to forget to turn my microphone back on every time I turn it off. That is my decisions and my mistakes. But yeah, that's an interesting one because, yeah, you're absolutely right. The main character doesn't have the Komorebi, doesn't get the visions. So it's going to be interesting because that means my character has to keep the hand down. We don't think our visions are set in fate, set in stone, because we don't have them. This one's pretty easy for me since I've never had a vision. But almost everything I know tells me they aren't set in stone. This is mirrored by the fact that nobody raises their hand. I guess he wasn't lying when he said he'd start with a simple one. But even lie detector tests start with some easy questions to ground you. I think it was for peace of mind, so he knows we're taking things seriously. He smirks like the test was effective.
Kind of figured as much. I can tell you don't like being told what to do, whether it's Argus or even your own future.
Yup. We even made a pact to defy our visions. Didn't like the fact that we weren't a part of each other's.
A pact? Really?
Yes,
Yep.
really.
Well, except for Delta, of course.
Which means we're going to be all alone. This is when I tell him that I haven't had a vision.
Oh, really?
He laughs nervously and rubs the back of his head.
But I'm not sure how to take that, so either my condolences or congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes either way. I shrug. It doesn't really bother me being the odd one out, but it makes me feel very left out when topics like this come up.
I think I'm gonna choose Clace for my follow-up.
Interesting choice.
Me? Really?
Yeah. Why don't you think our visions are real? Surely you're still a pop star in your own.
I guess.
But...
Well, it was still my choice to pursue this life. It's not like anyone held a gun to my head and told me to sing.
Yeah, but if you see a vision of yourself as a successful pop star, making millions on a yearly basis, billions of adoring fans around the world, why wouldn't you pursue that if you knew, like, your visions are telling you this is a possible future that you could have? You're like, hell yeah, I want that.
Then why did you?
The comfort and security, I guess? It seemed a lot less risky than my other options. But at the end of the day, I still had those other options. So it was more like a blueprint that I chose to follow. Or maybe it was like following in someone else's footprints. I still have the power to turn around and forge my own path.
Do you really, though?
I think I've
that's
already
my
said
question.
enough. Remember, it was one follow-up question?
Good call, good call. Have to make sure we ask better follow-up questions. That's fair, and we all agree with a single nod.
Well then, who will go next?
I have a pretty good one, actually.
Go for it.
A smirk appears on Dante's face that I can only describe as evil.
Raise your hand if you've slept with somebody at this table.
There it is! Went straight for the jugular. This is going to be interesting. Alright, so I know Hunter Earls has played this game before. They were the one that recommended it for the live stream. I think most other people haven't played through this. So, let's make our predictions. Who do you think is going to raise their hand? Who in this group do you think has already slept with someone else? Now, I think Clace is exempt, and I think Chiron's exempt. I reckon it's going to be... Ooh, it's either going to be Dante and Taylor, but I doubt it. There's a little too much banter there. I reckon it's going to be Isaac and Dante have actually slept with each other. That's my guess. What do you guys think? Gray's going for Isaac and Taylor. Okay. Sander, Taylor, and Isaac. It's possible. Just Isaac slept with everyone. Also entirely plausible as an answer. Like Isaac's like, yeah, everyone I've slept with now lives in the same house as me. All right, let's find out. And now remember, people might lie about this. It's also going to be very awkward if one person raises their hand. They're like, yeah, I've slept with someone else at this table. And everyone else is like, was it me? Yeah, the fact that Taylor's slept in Isaac's bed. True. It could be Isaac and Taylor. I'm actually going to go Isaac with both Taylor and Dante. Oh my. Obviously, I don't raise my hand. But to my surprise, Isaac, Taylor, and Clace all raise theirs. All eyes are on Clace, despite the fact that multiple hands are raised.
Hey, Isaac and Taylor raised their hand too.
They live here. You've been here for like a week.
Things move fast in this household.
I hate this game.
He takes a big sip of his drink. An advanced refusal to answer any follow-ups. Jesus. The entire table bursts into laughter, obviously except for Clace. I feel bad for him. All he did was be honest with the group.
Hey, I got a good one. Less embarrassing, at least.
Yes, please.
Isaac smiles and preemptively raises his hand. What did you miss, Spider? You missed the fact that we're playing a drinking game, and it turns out that Isaac, Taylor, and Clace have all slept with someone in the household. And Clace has only been here for like a week or two. So that was pretty quick. Isaac smiles and preemptively raises his hand.
Raise your hand if you think we're doing the right thing.
I don't think we need to vote on that. Hell yes, everyone's hands are up. We all voted on... We all think we're doing the right thing. He tilts his head toward Chiron. A moment later, everyone raises their hand.
Unanimous, huh? Well, I'm kind of flattered.
Can't be surprised, though, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure we're all in this together.
Whether we like it or not, I might add.
Yeah, but we're doing the right thing for sure. This time, the right thing just happens to go against Argus.
That it does. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Giant tech corporations are very rarely right because, let's face it, what they think is right is making money.
Right. Well, I guess it's time for my follow-up.
He looks directly at me and points his finger in a dramatic fashion. Objection!
Why do you think we're doing the right thing, Delta? It was a tie between you and Chiron, but he's kind of biased.
I mean, that's fair. Ooh, we get choices, and these ones don't have symbols attached to them. So we can kind of choose our answer. I'm going to guess that this probably doesn't really impact things too much, but yeah, okay. So society has to move forward, even if it goes against the status quo. Unity is important. We should celebrate our differences, not punish them. Argus is too old-fashioned. If they don't adapt, they'll just become obsolete. I think everybody deserves a chance to start fresh, just like me. It just feels right, like this is what we're supposed to be doing. Interesting. I think... Number 1's pretty good. I don't like number 3. I'm not a huge fan of number 4. Not everybody deserves a chance to start fresh. Like, depending on how broad we want to look at this, there are some people who, are criminals and are locked up in jail and that's kind of where they need to be for the betterment of society. Not always the case. There are exceptions to the rule, but that one, yeah, it's just a little too broad for my liking. Welcome to disagree with me, that's fine. It's all about opinion at the end of the day. So I'm thinking either 1 or 2. 5 is just a little too vague. It should be, like, I would have my answer personally grounded in something a little more tangible than just a general feeling. So I think number 1. I've got a few votes for 2. Let's see. Ah, sorry, it's Lucifer doing both votes for 2. Sander for 1. I'm gonna go for number 1. Society has to move forward, even if it goes against the status quo. We've got to fight for what we believe in. Everyone nods and smiles at my answer.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I actually dig this game, Chiron. Good idea.
Yeah, good idea. Now back to the embarrassing questions. Come on.
Don't mention it. Gotta repay you somehow, after all.
A moment later, Clay slaps his hand down on the table.
Oh, I got one. Raise your hand if you think I should sing karaoke.
Ooh. Hang on a second. Didn't we say karaoke was going to be the distraction for us getting out of the bar? Has he noticed something? Like, I don't think he should sing karaoke. He's going to give away his identity. His voice is going to be so recognizable. I think that's a bad idea. A curious question, and nobody raises their hand. It was probably checking if any of us thought we were under suspicion. What a clever way of checking in with the group while remaining under the radar. Yeah, okay, cool. We're good. We're good. Play it cool, guys. Play it cool.
Well, then I have a follow-up for Chiron. How'd it go when you ordered the screwdrivers?
Just as expected, actually. Scanned my phone, heard a beep, and I was good to go. Could have used a hand with a tray, but I understand.
Oh, gotta love the validation. Everyone here kept doubting me.
I was a little
good,
scared, to be honest, but you definitely know what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm kind of a prodigy.
That ego is going to come back to bite you.
Yeah, slow down, Isaac. Anyway, who's next?
I wouldn't mind taking a turn.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
I wonder if we'll get a chance to ask a question at all.
I don't know him that well, and even I agree.
Hey, I promise to play gentle. I have a good question, I promise.
Yeah, I don't trust your promises. A silence ensues, as if it's a challenge for him to prove his words.
Raise your hand if you're jealous of somebody at this table.
Interesting. Not one that I think we can play along with. A little too broad. But we can make predictions to see who might raise their hand. I wonder if it'll give us a chance to answer, because I think if I'm like role-playing the character of Delta, they would probably raise their hand because everybody else is pretty damn talented. As far as we know, we're completely unemployed. So our character should be jealous of others at the table. I think Clace will be jealous as well. Not sure who else. Any thoughts, guys? So I reckon Delta and Clace will probably raise their hands for this one. Delta isn't bothered by not having Komorebi, but they also don't have anything going on in their life. Yeah, exactly. They don't have a lot going for them at the moment. They're kind of just still working things through. You've got Dante, successful author. You've got Taylor, successful streamer. Isaac, tech prodigy, just got promoted. Clace, literal pop star. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. It could end up being everyone, and they're all jealous for different reasons. Like, someone might be jealous of Chiron for not having to conform to this society. Chiron might be jealous of the others for being able to be part of society. But I actually think Chiron will not raise their hand, because they actually will probably think that their life in the colony outside of the city is actually a better way of life. So I think my vote's going to be everyone except Chiron raises their hand. Let's find out. Ooh, that's a pretty good one. In unison, everybody raises their hand. Ah, okay, there we go.
Kind of figured as much. We're built to want the stuff that other people have. But now, I gotta figure out who to put on the spot.
We all seem fine with answering, so there's no easy target.
Let's go with Clace. My curiosity is getting the better of me.
Again? Really?
Yeah, we're kind of picking on Clace today.
To be fair, you didn't answer last time, so I think this is better. Less embarrassing, too.
That's fair. But honestly, my answer is all of you.
Yeah,
I'm jealous of everybody at this table.
Jealous of people being able to live an actual normal life, probably.
Even me?
Especially you. This whole idol thing can really take its toll. It's like living for somebody else instead of yourself. When my hiatus is over, I have to get back to work. But all of you get to keep on living this awesome life. They'd never let me walk the streets or go to a tavern.
Yeah, I definitely understand that.
Looks like we have more in common than I thought.
Hmm?
I mean, neither of us are fully in control of our lives. We're governed by circumstances outside of our control. With me, it's the system, and with you, it's the industry.
I'm honestly surprised they let him take a break. Time is money, and now they're losing plenty.
I'm sure they'll recover. Got a lot of song ideas floating around in my head, too. If anything, this hiatus is just a big rush of inspiration.
I could go for one of those.
Is the writing getting hard?
Always is.
Cheers to that one, man.
They hit their cups together and a small ring echoes.
I guess it's Delta's turn now?
Not gonna lie, kinda wish I had a voice like Chiron's VA. Like, you know what I mean? But it's a good voice. It's just like, it's just deep enough. It's got a little bit of that gravelness to it. That's a good voice. That's what I'm jealous of in the group. That's true. Everyone else is already gone, but I'm not sure what my prompt should be.
I'll call a stalling rule if I have to.
Different game, genius.
Yeah, take your time, Delta.
Hey, we do get to ask a question. We get to choose. Raise your hand if you think I've been a positive addition to the group. Ooh, yeah, no, don't like that. That's a very, that's a very needy question. Raise your hand if you'd go out on a date with me. Don't love that either. Raise your hand if you're keeping a secret from the group. Why would someone do that? Raise your hand if you think Cypher will defeat Argus. I think 3 or 4 are probably the best options here. I really dislike number 1. Raise your hand if you think I've been a positive addition to the group. I cringe so hard inside picking that. At the same time, though, it makes me wonder what the hell the response to that would be, but no, considering I'm not going to be replaying this, I'm going to do it once. Yeah, 3 is less Yeah, number 4 could draw accidental attention to us in the bar. I don't want to go down that route, so I think number 3 is probably the best way to go. Raise your hand if you're keeping a secret from the group. Everyone immediately raises their hand except for me. The Komorebi. Of course, by default, they're keeping secrets from the group because they inherently are reluctant or secretive about their Komorebi. I gotta say, that's not what I was expecting.
Really, Delta? Nothing?
Too bad we can't make them elaborate on their own question.
Everyone has a secret, Delta.
It's a fair point.
Even you?
Especially me. It's only natural to have them. We can't share everything about ourselves.
True. I guess a secret isn't malicious by default. Anyway, raise it up, Delta. We know you're lying.
I decided to direct my follow-up question to Isaac. He seemed so open about everything, I had no clue what his secret could be. But a moment later, an uneasy silence takes over the table. Bad call, I guess.
Go ahead and drink, Isaac. We don't want to know your secrets.
I second that one, Dante. How about we all take a drink? You know, to valuing each other's privacy.
Okay, we made a bit of a misstep there, I think, but we were going to make a misstep one way or another. Everyone nods and then we all take a sip of our drink. I guess I picked the wrong thing to ask. Oh well. At least they weren't mad, just a little firm.
Anyway, what happens next? If I'm not mistaken, that's a full round.
Yes, indeed.
How about we finish our drinks and take a break, Wouldn't mind stretching my legs and checking out the tavern.
Sounds good to me.
Regroup in 10?
I might go touch up my eyeliner. How about we just regroup when we're ready?
Fine by me.
We all stand up and go our separate ways. I look over at Chiron, and he's drawn to the dartboard. Did they have that kind of stuff on the colony? I wonder.
Experience heart-to-heart fragment. Chiron 1.
Hey! Ooh. No, I actually think we can't do this. No, we can do the first one. But if there's anything that implies dating, we have to say no to it. I still love that we got an achievement for picking a bad answer. That's kind of fun. I like they included that. Alright, we're gonna do it, but we can't date Chiron. We can't date Chiron. We said we'd date Dante. I was worried for a minute there. I pressed OK and then nothing happened. There was no whom. Oh, but it's sexy sax time. And you know what that means? It means we need to get a little closer. We need to get a little sexy. Oh no, we're doing at least the first heart to heart. We want to know a bit more about Chiron. He's mysterious. Is this an R18 game? No, it's not an R18 game. This game is safe to stream, nothing to worry about. Alright, give me a second. I decide to approach Chiron while I have some time away from the group. Even though Isaac explained everything, the man himself was still a mystery. It'd probably be helpful to learn more about him and life on the colonies.
Hey, Delta, watch this. I'm calling a bullseye.
Sure enough, a moment later, he hits the center of the board. I'm immediately aroused.
Score.
Sorry. He gives me a big smirk and turns to face me. I decide to ask him about colony life and if they had darts.
Now, of course. If it doesn't rely on technology, we probably have it. City folk who move to the colonies always bring new ideas, too. I've actually seen a lot of people abandon Argus. The colonies are nothing if not welcoming.
He walks over to the dart he just threw and pulls it out.
Wish I could say the same about the city. No matter where I go, I feel so many eyes on me, and I know they aren't just admiring my good looks.
Okay, we can't be too flirty here. At least you don't have to worry about that with our group. When I look, it's definitely to admire your good looks. I'm sorry you have to go through that. I hope we can change it. I think the first one's probably the safest bet here. Golden Paws. Hello. Appropriate name. Wish I could say the same about the city. No matter where I go, I feel so many eyes on me. I know they just aren't admiring my good looks. But at least you don't have to worry about that with our group, because everyone is fine.
True. You do give me a certain sense of security. Of course, the private jet sure isn't hurting anything. I like watching the news, too. It's only a matter of time until I see that headline. Either Argus loses or steps up. I doubt they'll go down without a fight, though. But right now, their inaction borders on negligence. People are starving to death, right at their front door. And where I come from, you never turn down a neighbor in need. I feel like we could teach you city folk a lot about life.
I'm sure there's a lot.
Bit harder when every day is a struggle.
Golden Paws, welcome. If you've got any questions about what's going on, want a quick recap of the story, just let me know. Happy to do that for you, my friend. Every day is a struggle? I ask him something that's been on my mind this entire time. The people who abandoned Argus, did they ever seem to regret it?
If they do, they never really show it. I think they know what they're signing themselves up for. They're usually super happy at first, but then it starts to fade.
Alright, so Golden Paws. Quick recap. Again, apologies to everyone else because we heard this a couple of times. We are playing a furry-based visual novel slash... It's not really a dating sim, but it has dating mechanics and relationship mechanics in it for the main cast. Two main things you need to know about this. There's a thing called Komorebi, which is basically an ongoing phenomenon, which allows people, when they hit like a certain age, they start experiencing visions of their potential future. They can deviate from it, they can change away, they don't have to fulfill that future, but they will always get visions of their future. Secondly, there's a giant tech corporation called Argus, which is definitely not Apple in the future if they happen to focus on home security systems.
I don't think that means they regret it or they're depressed.
Sorry, that was accident.
It's more like a honeymoon period where they appreciate the freedom. The city may be beautiful, but those walls are definitely suffocating.
Argus Corporation basically have instilled a social credit system that everyone who wants to live in a city needs to follow. And this lovely gentleman in front of us, Chiron, is a 0. Comes from a colony that lives outside of the city, but it also means if they try to come in the city, they can't interact with anything because their social credit score is 0, which means they can't access any like public systems, transport, go shopping, normally get in bars, anything like that. But one person in our tech group, Isaac, is a tech nerd who works for Argus Corporation and managed to create a fake profile for him. So we're kind of testing the waters, hanging out at a bar and seeing what we can get away with. And at the moment, we're just taking a moment to have a little one-on-one time with Chiron. Yeah, streams have definitely got a lot of furries pop in, but you know what? That's cool. Welcome. If this is the kind of wow, words are hard. If this is the kind of content you enjoy, perfect. Welcome. Glad to have you here.
Once they can truly breathe, it's almost like they have a new lease on life. But, just like all things, it quickly becomes normal and turns into routine. Day in and day out, life on the colonies never changes.
God damn, I want that voice.
It's a cycle that's definitely absent in the city. As much as Argus controls you, it's still so chaotic. I never really know what's waiting for me around each corner. It's definitely not Argus agents, though, and that makes me happy. At first, I figured it was only a matter of time before we got kicked out, but seeing the public opinion slowly sway is actually pretty shocking.
It's nice to see societies coming around to the idea of zeros, and they're actually now to the point where they're supporting them in society and want them to be able to be integrated.
We always thought your views aligned with Argus. Gotta say, I half expected that apple you gave me to be poisonous. It was a big risk, letting you and your friends know that I'm a 0.
Nah, dude, we could tell from the moment you tried to drink spilled alcohol off the ground. That's not normal behavior.
But it's a risk that paid off. Let's hope they continue to do that, yeah? Our lives aren't exactly risk-free.
I like how he threw the word yet in there. He definitely believes in the same goal that we do. Harmony between societies. A true, genuine give and take.
Anyway, sorry for the rant. Now that I can talk, I guess I don't feel like stopping. On the streets, I was almost too scared to say a word.
Ask him what made him speak to us then.
Desperation, I suppose. Or at the very least, hunger was a good motivator. But after all this time, I can't help but feel guilty.
Guilty? How so?
Well, I don't want to brag, but I'm pretty resilient. I reckon I could last a lot longer without food than some of the others, so in my mind, sometimes I wish you ran across somebody else.
It's an interesting perspective to have. Guess you kind of wish that, we ran across someone less fortunate than himself. He looks a little sad, but it's completely understandable.
And if one of my people do starve to death on the streets, I know that in my heart, I'll just wish it was me instead. So let's make sure that doesn't happen, all right?
Very selfless personality. Obviously I agree, since our goals are the same. We all wanted the conflict in the streets to end without death. It just remained to be seen who acted first. Argus or Cypher. It was like a standoff in the Old West. Both ready to shoot, but living in the moment where neither gun is smoking. We're just the observers, wondering which one will be left standing.
I gotta say, though, I feel like my life is complete these days. It's not like I never dreamed of living life in the city, My vision just told me that it would be an impossible dream.
Also, I'm kind of disappointed we haven't even had Komorebi drop yet. Like, come on. When's the name drop gonna happen? We need to bump up our counter. Right. In his vision, he's older and still living on the colony.
When I first had that vision, I was absolutely devastated. It's like my future was taken away from me. At least the one I wanted. Made me feel like giving up. Like any attempt at fighting it would be worthless.
But if the Komorebi, if the visions are actually something manufactured, for example, by the Argus Corporation, they wouldn't want anyone to have visions that would imply that Argus Corporation gets overthrown or defeated, or that society integrates. There's probably some level of control there.
It took me such a long time to accept what I saw. Spent so many years trying to prove it wrong and see the city. I remember the first time I got to see what was behind those walls. I'd go into the forest and try to find the tallest tree. When I got to the top, I'd peek over the walls. God, it was always so bright and lively. I almost cried. It was actually kind of pathetic. Just a simple reminder of what I'd never be able to have. I'd look at the people with a mixture of jealousy and hatred. They were kind of small since I was so high up, but I saw their faces. And they all seemed happy.
All living a lie.
I knew that a lot of struggles we face on the colonies didn't exist for you. And because you weren't aware of that fact, you'd always take it for granted. It sucks so much to see people live your dream and not even appreciate it.
I can imagine that would be difficult.
One of my favorite things to do was watch planes take off, just soaring the skies between cities. What an amazing sight. Told myself that one day, I'd get to experience all of that for myself.
Hey, we're getting closer to making that a reality for you.
Despite my vision saying otherwise, I kept pushing forward. So I hope you can understand what I mean when I say I feel complete. Living in the city, being on a plane, it's just all I ever really wanted.
It's a simple dream, simple goal.
We always suffer for the choices of those that came before us. I never really got to know my parents, but I think that's for the best. I was stuck there because of them. They'd be an easy target for my hatred.
That's a good perspective to have, actually. And again, reminder, the way this system worked is if your parents were outcasts, if they were zeros and not part of, if they didn't conform to society, then by default, you as their child are automatically a zero, and there is no way for you to get reintegrated. And that's what's happened here with Chiron. So it's like being dealt the worst possible hand from the moment of birth. Of course, you'd probably have some level of what's it for? Not regret, but hostility towards your parents as a result of that. They knowingly brought you into the world, knowing that you would be set up for failure. That's a pretty hard thing to reconcile.
And having an easy
Resentment,
target for your
that's the
hatred
word I
just
wanted.
stifles your own growth. And maybe that's why Argus and city folk are still so old-fashioned, clinging to this belief that the system makes you superior.
I never felt like the system or city life made me feel superior.
And that's why I'm certain I've chosen the right group. I mean, this might sound weird, but there was something different about you. Well, not just
empty
you,
head.
but the rest of the gang too. I felt like I could approach you. It was the first time I ever got friendly vibes from someone in the city. So when I picked up on them, I had to take action almost immediately. Even if I get caught, at least you helped me check a few things off my list.
Glad I could help.
No matter how short or long this lasts, I still got to live in the city. And not only that, but I got to be inside a plane too. It's all thanks to you, Delta. Can't deny it. I guess I'm just glad that I didn't have an easy target for my hatred. It allowed me to grow and meet people who I can love and appreciate. A real, true group of friends. I don't think I'll ever forget you or the rest of them.
Well, as flirty as option one is, we decided we're not dating Chiron, so we can't go for that one. So we have to go with, we're happy to have you. Let's hope for a happy ending too.
Yeah, the happiest one we can snag. I feel like we can achieve it if we really try. Didn't you and your friends make a pact to beat fate?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sander. Delta hasn't done anything yet other than kind of A, be there, and B, not have Komorebi. That's kind of it. They don't have any inherent bias, and that's about it. Yeah, Delta gave him the apple. But really, anyone could have done that. Don't you and your friends have a pact to beat fate? I mean, yeah, technically. We definitely did. They weren't a fan of their visions. I suppose that unites us all with a common cause. Living life the way we want, seizing our own future. What's that noise? awesome. People upstairs are doing repairs. Love that. Absolutely love that. Hopefully it doesn't come through on the mic.
Living life the way we want. Yeah, that's perfect. No mysterious corporations governing our daily way of life. Just us and our friends. Maybe one day, even lovers.
He wants to bang every single person in the friendship group. Look at those eyes. Look at those eyes. He's thirsty. So thirsty. He wants all of them. He wants every single one of them. That's the only reason he wanted to join our friendship group. It's the only reason he's here. It's the only reason that he wants to move into the house with the rest of us. He wants every single one. Lovers? I can't help but wonder if he's referring to someone in our group.
Anyway, thanks for the chat, Delta. You want to head back to the group and keep this night going? It's still pretty early. Maybe we can all raise our hands again.
Yeah, let's do some extra questions. The night's young. I nod, since this seems like a pretty good stopping point. Now that I know him more, things seem completely different. There's no longer a sliver of doubt that we're doing anything wrong. Chiron was just like us, and he should be able to live the life he wants. Whether that was in the city or the colony, it should be his choice to make. I still have some questions for Chiron, but nothing immediately pressing. It was more like, how did he get into the city? Him or a friend must have had ties to Cypher and Hermes, but from what he said, I doubt it's him. It must be someone else. We sit back down at our table and the group quickly assembles. But the man who felt like an outsider now feels like a true friend. There we go. Heart to heart complete. Let's get back into the conversation. That was a nice little sidebar we had there. Never even threw a dart. We went over there to play darts. Chiron threw one, got a bullseye, and we just stood there and went... That was pretty much it. Delta's just useless. Love it. No personality. We're in for a night that'd be just as memorable as the nightclub.
Nothing like a nice little breather. I take it you're all good to keep going?
I could go all night long.
Yep, Taylor's definitely talking about something else.
Yeah, bring it on.
Got a nice game of darts in, actually. Maybe we could go head-to-head sometime?
There was no game. You threw one dart, and that was it.
Oh, I'm really good at that.
You are?
Yep.
Never would have guessed.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know, you just have a certain aura.
Like an aura of bad aim?
Sure, you're right on track.
Yeah, something like that.
You should have seen me on Taylor's stream then. If you want to talk about bad aim, talk to him.
Hey, don't throw me under the bus like that. I was just going easy on you, since you're new.
Yeah, that's what you always claim when you lose.
There's no way you were going easy. I could see the panic in your eyes when I came for you.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to admit that you're better. He says the same thing no matter who he loses to.
Exactly. I agree with Dante here.
Oh, come on, man.
Sorry, Taylor, but the truth is the truth. At least your viewers tune in for you, though. Your personality is the winner, not your skills.
That's a very sweet thing for Clays to say. Because honestly, I'm pretty sure that is like a sore point for a lot of streamers. And again, I'm going to go off on a short tangent here, but I think there's a lot of streamers, YouTubers, Twitch, like whatever platform they're on. Everyone, if they're playing a game, will feel like people would only want to watch them if they're the best at that game. Why else would you want to be there? But actually, a lot of people need to like recognize, especially like when I say people, I mean the streamers need to recognize that it's not necessarily about the skills. It's about their personality. It's about who they are. Are they an entertaining person to watch and listen to? Do they present things in an interesting way? That's, again, maybe this is my personal opinion, but the YouTubers and content creators that I watch, it's not necessarily for the content. It's for them. They're interesting people to watch and listen to. They can explain things in interesting ways. Hopefully you guys feel the same as well. Hope I'm doing it justice.
Well, I can't exactly be mad after a compliment like that. You're right, though. We all have our own strengths.
And weaknesses.
Yeah, it's the vibe, Sander. Absolutely. And here, for our Saturday morning streams, it's chill vibes.
true.
Definitely got my fair share of those.
Says the self-proclaimed prodigy.
Just that pride at play, I guess. But I know I'm good at what I do.
And you have living proof of that now.
He points to himself in a display of pride.
Well, Isaac didn't do all of that by himself. He had a little help from you-know-who.
Yeah, he basically stole the joke and got all the credit. As much as you thank Isaac, you should thank Hermes too.
Interesting that Taylor was reluctant to drop the name, but Dante just went straight for it.
Well, then if I ever meet this Hermes, I'll give them my regards.
Let's just hope that it's not behind bars.
It couldn't be that bad. A prison cell or city walls, it doesn't even matter. You're all stuck in here, forced to live life the way they say.
That's a good point.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, but it also happens to be an awesome, luxurious life, so even a prison cell would ease a lot of my struggles. In fact, it might even be a welcome change.
Interesting perspective to look at it. If you were locked up and in prison, but your prison just looked like your house and your surroundings, would it even bother you? Are we already locked into our own societal prisons? We're, confined by what we know, the society we live in, our local culture, our friends, our family, our resources that we have at hand. You could argue in some ways that we're already living in our own personal prisons. Yes, it's comfy. Yes, we have access to everything we want, but there's very few of us that have true freedom to go where we want and do what we want. Because let's face it, money is a limiting factor for most people. Money puts us into our own prison. At least from one perspective. There you go, there's your deep and meaningful for today.
They can't do that, though, right? You gotta be in the system to have a criminal record. With no digital logs, you're almost like a ghost.
For me, they probably can. At least now.
Hermes is the therapist. Yeah, maybe. No, the therapist is part of the system, but it's possible that Hermes or Cypher are already part of the system and they're helping out the Zeros, so yeah, there's some plausibility to it. We don't actually, I think, know the therapist name. Or if it might have been dropped early on, I just don't remember it, but we've always just called them the therapist. He holds up his phone.
Right? But all your friends?
Not sure. Seems like new territory for Argus, too. That's probably why they haven't actually responded yet. New situations call for new rules and protocols, right?
Sounds about right.
It's really weird, isn't it? We're like right on the verge of history. Almost feels like the world is standing still.
Yeah, especially for me. Remember, those are my people out there.
Time for action, then.
You must be feeling a little hopeful, though.
Kind of finding it hard to feel that way. Especially when the news keeps doing what it does. Fishing for sympathy views, showing all my people starving.
I can imagine it's tough, yeah. But there's one major takeaway here, and it's something important for the whole world.
What are you on about?
It's something we've always wondered, but we never knew. But with everything going on now, I'm almost certain of it.
What are you thinking, Isaac?
And what is that?
Argus isn't invincible.
Oh, God, no.
If they were, we wouldn't even be here right now. The cracks are starting to show, and we can all see it.
I guess you're right. Didn't expect to get this far, at least.
And even if we lose, it's not really the end. There's always someone who's willing to stand up. Whatever we can leave behind will be invaluable to them.
Yep, someone's got to start the path, start the journey. You might not be the people to finish it. You might be, but you might not. But if someone starts the journey, you can leave a path for others to follow.
Just like Cypher left the blueprint for you to follow.
Exactly. We should come up with some sort of failsafe. You know, a set of files to leak if we end up getting caught. Something, anything to let people know what we did and how.
What happened to all that confidence?
Oh, it's still there. This is purely worst case scenario.
I think it's clever foresight to plan for the worst case scenario, though. I find it odd that we're talking about this stuff out in the open, but it's not like this place was packed or people were listening in. It's also clear that the bartender was out of earshot, so it's not a big deal. Although it's smart to plan for the worst, it was a little unsettling. If we could leave behind something useful though, then it was a good idea. Sometimes ideals pass down from generation to generation before becoming the norm. As much as I'd like to come out of this unscathed, there's always a chance that we may have to pass the torch. With everything Isaac has said though, I think he's uniquely qualified for the task. And that is what garnered most of the trust I have for him. A man who can make the impossible happen is the greatest threat of all. Especially against those who in their arrogance see themselves at the top.
This is all certainly cheerful and uplifting, but remember, we were talking about darts. Yeah, starting to think you're just too scared to challenge me.
Yeah, I agree, Sander. There's a lot of talking about stuff and planning and like looking at like the societal impacts. We've seen some little things happen, like actually being able to get Chiron to join the group, but I'm still waiting for the ball to get rolling on the, right, let's overthrow the tech corporation part of the plot that I hope is coming. And Hunter also said, I swear it picks up in Act 3. I'm sure it will. I'm hoping that it's going to kind of start picking up at the end of this in-between part between Act 2 and 3, but I guess we'll find out.
Oh, I certainly am. I wasn't trying to hide it, though.
Yeah, I think Clace is the one that challenged you. And from what I experienced, he does know how to aim.
Yeah, pacing is kind of slow. I would love it to be a little faster pace, but if you're after the kind of game that's more just about like building those interpersonal relationships, then this does a pretty good job of it.
Right. Sorry for getting sidetracked. You still down to face him, Clace?
You also have to remember that we are going at a slower pace than normal because I keep getting distracted and interrupting things by going on tangents. I am very sorry for that.
Oh, I don't think so.
Huh? Everything good?
He looks around, clearly nervous. Pen in hand, he was scribbling in his diary.
Well, remember when I asked if I should sing karaoke?
Yeah, but none of us think we're in any danger.
I'm starting to think that we might be.
Uh-oh, something has happened. Here we go.
Huh?
What's wrong?
Well, when I asked, I noticed a few people staring our way. It's been a while, but they haven't stopped. It's creeping me out. Especially now that we're talking about matters at hand.
Aren't you famous or something? I mean, even I catch myself staring from time to time.
Yeah, maybe Clace has just been recognized?
Well, this is a bit different. One or two people usually turns into a crowd. Especially as they tell their friends and post on social media. But that hasn't happened here. They just keep staring. I think that's enough for me to point it out. Have you noticed?
Curious. Why are we being watched?
Can't say I have.
Don't have eyes on the back of my head either. This is on you and Chiron, man.
True. Only Clace and Chiron could see over there. Even in my seat, I don't have the right angle to take a look.
Yeah, I noticed, but I'm used to people checking me out. That fact aside, there are people looking our way.
What do we do?
We can still hang out at home.
Doesn't matter to me. Especially with all that alcohol we took from the club. If we can stay safe and save money, that's a win-win.
I actually have to agree with Taylor there.
So I have to sing then?
I mean, it was your idea.
I think it'll help us out no matter what. If they are fans, then they'll appreciate the show. And if they're Argus, then it'll distract them while we slip out.
Wait a minute. If it is Argus, then what happens to me?
Hey, it was your plan. Didn't you think it through?
Thinking things through isn't really my strong suit. But don't worry, I'll sing and then meet you back at home. I guess my main priority was your safety instead of my own.
Aw, that's very, very sweet, very caring.
You sure about this then?
Absolutely. It was the plan after all. I can't just back out because there's some uncertainty.
He smiles.
I learned that one from you, Isaac. If you gave up, we wouldn't even be here right now. When things get difficult, you just try even harder.
Yeah, been doing that a lot lately. But thanks for the distraction, Clace. I'll find us a route home that's drone-free.
Okay. So something suspicious is going on.
Isn't that a bit extreme?
Not if Argus is watching us, no. The first thing they do when we left is check the streets. Those drones can scan our faces, remember? We'd stand no chance.
That's fair. So, the party continues at home.
Sure looks like it. Hate to cut things short, but I think we need to.
Hey, Clace, can you promise me something?
What's up?
Please sing us a song at the Quantum Leap. I'd love to stay and watch you now, but yeah.
Okay.
Sure
that's
thing,
cool.
Dante. I'd love to. You're expecting a big crowd, right?
Yeah, And it's private property. If anyone seems suspicious, we'll kick them out.
Awesome, we're gonna have another party soon. But at least we'll be a bit more in control of that one from the sound of it. How do these guys know so many people in high places?
Sounds good to me.
He stops to think for a moment and then scoffs.
On hiatus, and I still end up performing. Somehow I knew this would end up happening. You're all free to go, though. Your savior is here.
I guess he really is acting as our savior. He's the only one who can cause a natural distraction after all. But I do worry about what might happen if those people were agents of Argus. They'd never do something to an idol performing in public, would they? It definitely seems like this is the best possible distraction for us to use. A night of safety in our own home definitely beats a night spent under prying eyes. Kind of ironic when Argus already watches us almost all of the time, but there's something about those specific four walls that make it seem safer. So if we should be anywhere right now, it should be within those walls. Place approaches the karaoke stage and chats with the operator. A few moments later, as he steps onto stage, we start to make our way out. It looks like for some reason we'd be leaving through the back door. I assume it has to do with Chiron or the position of those Argus drones.
Hey, well, I wrote this one a couple years ago. It seemed to do pretty well, so I hope you enjoy.
Advance this text box to start the song, and advance the next one to end it.
That's nice, we actually get to listen to it. Bulletproof Heart by Clace. Alright, let's listen to a bit of it. We'll see if it's any good.
Afraid, I've lived my life being afraid to break these chains.
Sorry, that voice is wrong for Clace.
To what's been safe. Shame, I cannot take the shame. Sick of all these games. So what do you say? The bullets don't make it fun when you're reloading words like guns. Yeah, my veins, they pound like drums. My ears, they ring and hum. I've got a bulletproof heart. I've got a bulletproof heart. If it ain't enough for you, will I ever be enough for you? I've got a bulletproof heart. I'm gonna make it start. Open up for you. I don't wanna be bulletproof anymore.
Alright, we're gonna end it there. Alright. Yeah, Spider-Man should say that's how singing works though. Most people, you can at least find a link between their talking voice and their singing voice. Whereas that sounds completely different. Clace's talking voice is much higher. It's up a little bit here, and it sounds actually almost slightly girlish a little bit. It's in that higher vocal range, but that singing voice is much lower, different enunciation. Completely different person that's singing that song, I'm willing to bet. And I might cop some hate for this, but it's my opinion. Welcome to disagree. But it wasn't a great song. It's okay. It's just very standard middle of the road pop music. I think for like something that's been inserted into a game, it's decent. Not something that I'd be going and adding to my Spotify playlist though. Maybe other people have enjoyed it enough, maybe there's popularity, but yeah, that's just me. It's okay. I love that they included it though, because it does help the world feel a little more grounded. This music is new though, and has a little bit of tension to it. As soon as we exit the tavern, we start following Isaac. He has his head buried in his phone, trying to find us a safe route home. The drone coverage must be extensive. It's surely a feat to dodge though.
Hold on. We should be safe in this alley for a few minutes. I'll calculate the rest of the route and send Clace a screenshot. At least then he'll know how to get home without being seen.
We all agree, though, right? That wasn't Argus, just some fans.
No, fans would have been different. They would have been trying to sneak pictures of Clace.
Can't say for sure. Even then, we need to err on the side of caution. I can take a deeper look at my follow-up interview.
You're still planning to go to that?
Of course. I have no reason not to.
Well, we're currently running in fright from Argus. The last thing I'd want to do is walk into their HQ.
I mean, you make a good point, Taylor.
I guess that's what separates us then. No need to panic unless I'm given one. I just want Clace to feel safe while he's here.
You know, this is the only downside I've noticed about city life. You're all terrified of Argus, while the Zeros take a stand.
Hey, us city folk are taking a stand too.
Yeah, behind the mask of Cypher. Whoever this Hermes is, they're kind of a coward.
Hey, that's not nice. If it weren't for Hermes, you wouldn't have that phone. It was their blueprint that I used to beat the system. Whatever Hermes is planning, I'm sure it'll work. You're living proof that Argus isn't invincible. Knowing that can make all the difference.
Yeah, and their inaction only makes them look scared. But it's still smart to be cautious, especially right now.
And remember, this conflict is gonna end in a week or two. Argus only has a few possible moves, and most play into Cypher's hands. The only one that doesn't is forceful removal. But I doubt they'll resort to that.
Interesting. Okay.
What makes you so certain?
If Argus wanted to rule with an iron fist, they'd already be doing it.
That's a good point.
Giving us a score and letting us control it.
There's a sense
There's
of
some
control.
trust there. It might not be ideal, but it could be a million times worse than it is.
That's a pretty big assumption to make, Taylor. Like they treat their enemies the same way they treat their subjects.
They might not have a choice.
You think so?
Well, Argus has so many eyes on them right now. I'm guessing they don't like the taste of their own medicine. They'll probably take the option that society wants the most.
Try and bring society all under one umbrella that they can control.
And public opinion is with the Zeros.
Exactly.
You know, he's not wrong. In fact, he'd know more about that than anyone. When you're on a platform, you need to please others, even more than yourself. As easy as it would be to kick your friends out, it's not the play. Their next move, or lack of one, will affect how we see them. For once, they have to factor in other people's feelings.
And the other thing I'm not sure of is how long the Argus Corporation and the system has been in place. I think they said it's been ever since Komorebi, which has been quite a while now, but yeah, society's just adapted, gotten used to it.
Yeah, I count on my viewers to hold me accountable. If I ever slip up, I want to hear about it so I can correct it, and ideally stop myself from slipping up in the future.
Have to agree with that.
Awfully responsible, Taylor. Never would have expected that from you.
We're all a bit startled, not even noticing that Clace returned. Yeah, hi Clace! Glad you caught up with us. Surprise!
Whoa, where'd you come from?
Oh, I started to follow your route and heard you talking. Things went fine, by the way. No one followed me.
Stealth expert. Sneaking level 99.
So they were just fans then?
I'm not sure. I got out of there before I got the chance to tell. The owner actually recognized me and helped me sneak out. Of course, not before giving me a few shots in the house.
Ah, damn. I was kind of hoping we'd find out for sure. Sometimes not knowing things is just way worse.
Like I said, I can take a deeper look at my follow-up interview. But remember, I already looked earlier today. We're clean. I doubt anything changed in a matter of hours, Taylor.
Unless it did.
Fair.
So, are we ready to continue?
I think so. Clace, you good?
Those shots went straight to my head, but yeah, I couldn't turn down free drinks. Not from the owner.
I'm gonna say something controversial here, but I think we should let Chiron come back home with us.
I was wondering what would happen with Chiron.
Really?
Yeah. If Argus is after us, that means they're after him too. We can't just let him go off on his own. It feels wrong. Even if the chance is minimal, we shouldn't take it.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if you are being spied on by Argus because they suspect you guys of something, letting someone who is potentially, from their perspective, a Zero, who has an illegal account, into your home shows that you've been aiding them and kind of looks even worse on you. But on the other hand, if we were to give them directions and send them just back to the private jet, it would at least just look like Chiron had broken in and was squatting in a private jet, and it would throw suspicion off everyone else. So it does become a question of, do we all go down with the ship, or do we throw someone under the bus?
I don't know about that, Isaac.
If he's caught, then we're the next people they'd come for. We need to stick together like we always planned. Remember? If we go down together.
If you say so, but that pride is going to be the death of you.
Wow, once again, putting it in red text just to make it really pop and drive the message home. Oh dear.
Trust me, I'm counting down the days. But, looks like you got lucky, Chiron. You finally get to come over.
And sleep with everybody. You got your dream.
Under the most auspicious circumstances, too. We just better hope that Argus doesn't come knocking. I'm not quite close enough to take a bullet for any of you.
Don't worry, I'm pretty quick on my feet. We might have to worry about Taylor, though.
Hey, I'm nimble.
Place looks really nervous and is tugging on his scarf.
Any chance we could talk about dying a little less?
Seconded.
And thirded.
Fine. The rest of the route is pretty simple, actually. Just follow me and we'll be home in no time.
We start to follow Isaac and my mind is racing. Everything makes sense, but it's also scary and risky. Bringing Chiron home so early on? That wasn't part of the plan. But he was right. We couldn't just give him that phone and then ditch him. Especially because things were going differently than we anticipated. He was one of us now, and we had to take care of him and treat him as such. Even if that meant making a dangerous move. Our fear could be a self-fulfilling prophecy that tips Argus off. But I'd never forgive myself if we left Chiron and something bad happened to him. This is our responsibility now. That's what I repeat to myself as we make our way home with an abundance of caution. The only thing that could save us is the resolution of the protest that rage on. It's like a coin was in the air and slowly falling down. We just have to hope that it lands on the right side. Not just for us, but for the sake of everybody. Wham! Alright, we're going to get more plots, or are we on to part 3 now? Okay, a little more plot. Tense music's gone. All calm now. Okay. Just a reminder, we are going to play through until we arrive at Act 3. And that's going to be the end of the stream for the day when we get there. Alright. As soon as we arrive home, we head to the kitchen. Just as expected, there's no beep or announcement when Isaac unlocks the door. I assume that he's put his mods back in place after Dante last removed them. It's weird how far removed we are from that initial conflict. Back then, those mods seemed to be a major cause of quarrels in the house. But things have certainly changed over the last week or so. For everybody. When I stop to think about it though, it's still the same central conflict. It all boils down to how much we're okay with Argus being in control. Spider, we should have had you counting Argus name drops in this one. We should have been counting, like, LM counting the Komorebis, Spider counting the Argus. It's still an issue that boils down to society clashing with the system. At least now, with the people on the streets, things are changing. For the first time, public opinion is moving in favor of the Zeros. It's like seeing these people and their plight changed minds. I've said it before, but it's a lot easier to fight and discriminate against a concept. That's what the Zeros were to most of us until a couple of weeks ago. A concept. Something intangible. A convenient target for judgment and hate. A convenient target for judgment and hatred. Thankfully, me and the group are level-headed and incapable of that hate, especially not toward a group of people who just think differently from us. I wish the people in power were as impartial as we were, though I guess calling us impartial is kind of stretching the truth. Our allegiance is clearly with the Zeros and against our world powers. I guess it was better to say that we sided with justice and equality for all.
Well, I think we can strike all worry from the record.
Spider, you're not willing to make that kind of commitment? Come on! That's cool, it's cool.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. I just feel like bringing Chiron home was the ultimate test. Talking outside or in a cafe just doesn't seem as wrong. But now we're definitely abetting him. So there's that.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
If they were watching us, they'd be waiting for a slip-up, something they could pounce on and use to take us down. But we seem to be fine. There's definitely been no pouncing tonight.
Oh, with Chiron in the house? I think there will definitely be some pouncing and some pounding tonight.
Looking to change that?
Called it! Typical Taylor coming in with the innuendos. Thanks, Taylor.
Silence.
Leave it to Taylor to make anything thirsty. But, speaking of thirst, you all down for another beer?
That's the one in the can, right?
Usually. I guess it depends on your preference. We could pour it out on the sidewalk if you'd rather use your fingers.
Why? Why?
Dante, come on.
Oh, bad joke?
Yes.
Actually, it was pretty good. Something tells me I'll never live that one down.
Yeah, you probably won't. Hold on. I'll go grab the drinks.
I'm fine with that one if that's okay. I think I had a few too many at the Wayfarer.
Generous proprietor, huh?
That's one way to put it. He said he'd hook me up if I ever came back, too, but I don't think I'll get the chance. Work wouldn't allow it.
Dante returns with the beers and places them in front of us. Except for Clace, who already seems intoxicated enough.
Is work really that restricting?
Yes.
I'm probably downplaying it, to be honest. They basically have to approve my every action. This hiatus is killing them. I can almost feel it.
Yeah, they're losing money.
But I promised them more albums and tours in exchange. So that's what sold them. They'd never let me do this for the fun of it. Everything I do usually comes down to, is this making the label money?
Told ya. Yeah, everything comes back to money.
Or costing them money, in this case.
Yeah, I had to cancel a lot of interviews to make this happen. That's why we had the nightclub to ourselves as well. It was going to be used for an autograph session.
That's how we got it.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that. How much money did that cost the label?
A lot.
No idea, but I'd guess a lot. It's not even a good way to meet fans either. Most people just want the signed photo so they can sell it.
Oof. That's a little too real, Clace.
Yikes.
People pay money for your signature? You have it so much easier than the rest of us.
How can you tell
I
what
love
their
that.
intentions are, though? I feel like I should ask for the benefit of my own signings.
I absolutely love that the way he voiced that line. Just as like, one is a question and one's just like almost muttering to himself, like, people pay money for your signatures? Oh, you have it so much easier than the rest of us. That was very well done. Very well done.
Oh, I just have to ask them who I'm signing the photo for. If they don't want it personalized, they're likely looking to sell it. At least, that's what they taught me when I was in PR training.
Okay.
PR training? Like talking to the media? Way too intense. I could never handle that.
But just as well, you're not in a public-facing role, other than, when you're working retail.
How do you cope?
There's a few moments that make it all worthwhile. And for everything else, there's vodka.
Ah, alcoholic. You'll fit in with all the rest of us perfectly. Everyone laughs at the joke and the rest of us raise our beer in the air. To being an alcoholic.
Ready to give it a shot, Chiron?
If I had to answer based on the smell, I'd say no, but I'm not about to back down from a challenge.
And there's the toast for the night. Here's to not backing down from a challenge.
Yeah, we stick it out to the very end.
We touch our beer cans together and each take a swig. I didn't drink that much tonight and I'm still perfectly sober. Had to take it easy since the quantum leap was coming up.
Okay, this one is actually disgusting.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Chiron. Beer is gross. I don't understand it as a drink. Beer is gross.
Seriously?
I kinda like it.
Or probably more accurately, it's an acquired taste. And until it's an acquired taste, it's gross.
Might as well go outside and bite a pine tree.
No. Pine trees taste better.
It is not that bad.
It's an acquired taste. I'll give you that much.
Okay, Isaac's on my side.
Well, here I go acquiring.
He takes another large swig and coughs soon after. Isaac leans forward like he's about to say something important.
You wanna see something cool? I've been getting the backyard ready for the party.
I still think we should have hosted it at my place. More room, and I got that pool in the back.
Also, it was your idea.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But you want everyone to know where you live? I figured I was doing you a favor by hosting it here.
Fair.
Besides, I think you'll like what you see. Sharing a beer while the sun sets is a lot better than staying inside, too.
Yeah, replace that with a different beverage, but yeah, sure.
Can't argue with that. Go on then, Isaac. Show us the way.
Oh, okay. Scene change. We're moving along a little more. Okay, so we're starting to see what's going to happen for the upcoming end of year party, I guess. Oh, that looks nice. That's cozy. That's very well maintained. Nice fence on the side. Got the little pagoda area. Hung TV from there as well. No idea how any of that stuff's being powered. Can't see any cables, but hey, it's the future. But like, that looks nice. As long as you got some good weather, that looked like a lovely spot to hang out in the afternoon into the evening. Beautiful. Now I'm jealous. It may not have a pool or be as fancy as Taylor's house, but it had character. And in my opinion, character would win over fancy tech any day. And this is actually my first time in the backyard, and it's clear that Isaac cared for it. How have you lived in this house for like 2 or 3 weeks now and never seen the backyard? No wonder Delta is like inept as a character. Like, Jesus. Live in a place for 3 weeks and you've never seen the backyard of the house you live in. What the hell? And if this was where we'd be ringing in the new year, then I'm definitely excited. I'm a bit uncertain if having a huge crowd over is a good idea, but I trust Isaac. Perhaps it would even work to our benefit and let us blend in. If Argus ever did come after us, a crowded party would be the worst place to attack. Something told me that if they wanted to deal with us, they'd do so in private.
So, you like it? I've been working on it all week.
It looks awesome. Definitely gives me some colony vibes. Everything else in the city is way too bright and high-tech.
You should see Taylor's house sometime.
Guessing it's the opposite of this? If that's the case, I think I'll pass. The jet is already fancy enough.
And to think, I was about to ask you over for a date.
You ask everyone over for a date, Taylor.
How about we do it at my place instead? We can set the windows to a more romantic view. Maybe the sunset, or even a city skyline.
I like that. Chiron is just batting just as hard as Taylor.
How about the stars? I've always found them pretty romantic, especially in the dead of night, too.
I'll have to pass on that one. Stars mean something different on the colonies. Definitely not conducive to romance.
Interesting. We all take a seat in the gazebo type thing and start sipping our beers. I love that it's been named that way because from Delta's point of view, he doesn't know what to call it. Or because the devs were like, what is this? Is it gazebo? I just call it a gazebo type thing. It's fine. They'll know what we're talking about.
Wait, what? Stars are different for you?
Okay, can I make a prediction here? Maybe the stars are indicative, like, they're either a reminder of the fact that they're outside of society, or it's as simple as the fact that if you can see the stars, it means you don't have a shelter.
The meaning of them, yeah. It's just a silly
else.
Superstition anyway.
Some kind of superstition. All right, well, let's hear what this is all about.
I know about that, actually. Seen a lot of people talk about it online.
Anyone care to elaborate?
That's nothing special, but sure. In the city, when someone dies, you say they return to the earth. But on the colonies, it's the opposite. We say they return to the stars.
Ah, it's dead people. I can see how that has a different meaning. So it's all about like ancestry and that kind of stuff.
Okay, that sounds so much cooler. Can't believe I've never heard it before.
I'm surprised Isaac has, honestly. There isn't much mingling between our two worlds.
I'm just a jack of all trades, I guess. Pick up a lot of random facts in retail. Like I always say, people love to talk.
That's a little too real. People in retail absolutely love to talk, and they absolutely love to overshare. Like, honestly, one of the skills that I had to learn during my time working in retail was how to basically disengage a conversation. Because people will get you tied up and, you know, you'll be doing your work and there'll be certain questions you need to ask them in order to finish whatever it is you're needing to do, just like complete a form or whatever. But a lot of them will be like, oh, I'm just going to fill time by talking about things. Yeah, politely shutting people up. Absolutely, Sandra. It's like, how do I stop this conversation in a way that does not make them feel offended? People love to talk.
Do you ever do it then? You know, gaze up and remember?
Oh yeah, all the time. At the very least, it's still a pretty sight.
So you're saying all our friends and family are out there somewhere?
Yeah, we're cosmic beings, and this body is just a simple stop.
Space
Once
dust.
it expires, we keep on sailing that vast sea of stars. So even if we feel alone, we never truly are. Get it?
It's definitely gotten. Makes our views seem super depressing, though.
I mean, yeah, if I had a choice between the essence of my body being returned to the ground or out into the infinite expanse of space, yeah, turn me into a star. Hell yes.
Yeah, return to the Earth, it's kind of stupid. Yeah, trampling all over everyone that came before you. No, I'd rather look up and know they're out there somewhere.
Do you think they're watching us? You know, to see what we've become?
Maybe, but I wouldn't be offended if they aren't. I imagine that limitless opportunities open up when we die. Looking back at Earth is probably the last thing on their mind.
That's actually an interesting perspective to have. Yeah. If you've got everything in the universe to be able to go and look at, sure, probably check in on Earth from time to time, but there's so much else to see.
I guess it depends on the person.
Probably. Anyway, Taylor, remember how you said the dead of night? At least you know how it got that name. A simple superstition.
Don't know how real that is, but that's a interesting link. Never considered that before.
Well, I'm sorry for suggesting something like that. In the city, we just look at the stars and see infinite potential. The chance to make a wish, especially with someone we love.
Kind of sounds like the two go hand in hand. Making a wish under the watchful eyes of our lost loved ones? And if we're in love, then sharing that wish with a partner? Makes total sense why we'd see it as romantic.
Aw, Dante. You're a little bit of a romantic, aren't you?
Speak for yourself, Dante. I don't want my dead ancestors watching me make out. It's enough having the eyes of Argus on me all the time.
Also, you have to remember that the stars don't just come out at night. The stars are always there. We just can't see them during the day. So, yeah, your ancestors are watching you 24/7. Anytime you're outside, they're watching you. Chiron, you know that drink that you just, lapped up off the pavement that we referred to earlier? Yeah, your ancestors saw you do that. I hope you're proud.
I don't think they're literally watching. I think it's more like a spiritual connection that's still in place. When all of us are gone, we'll still be connected by the stars.
Almost like a constellation of our own. It's pretty cool, actually. Kind of looking forward to it.
Looking forward to dying?
Once again, putting death, dying, and novelist references in red. Something is going to happen later in this story.
More like looking forward to absolute freedom. Plus, an author dying has never really hurt their career. I'll be touching more minds and hearts than I ever could while I'm alive.
As morbid as it is, you have a point. I imagine I'll blow up a bit after dying too.
Phrasing, dude.
What about you, Clace? Ever thought about that stuff?
Not really.
Yeah, something happening in this story? That'll be the day, absolutely. It'll get there. I have faith that it will get there.
Really? Never thought about the legacy you'd leave behind?
I guess I'm just too busy to think about that kind of stuff. But trust me, this hiatus has my mind going to a lot of new places.
And you like what you've been experiencing?
Yeah, for sure.
I am still kind of surprised that they actively made these choices with the pacing, though. By now, we're all done sipping our beers. Chiron has stopped objecting to the taste. He must have acquired it. Or maybe he's just intoxicated enough that the taste doesn't matter.
Is it okay if I go and get some sleep? We'll be back out here partying in a few days anyway, right?
Oh, of course. Don't feel pressured to stay awake. I can tell it's been a busy night for you.
Yeah, it's been a while since I sang like that. Reminds me of how tiring being on tour is.
Picked a pretty good song, too. I heard some of it on the way out.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Still can't believe you sang your own song. Isn't that a little self-serving?
Nah, I don't think it really is. Hey, Polly. How have you been liking the game? Is the writing any good? I'd say the game has been good. It got off to a strong start with the world building, but at the moment, it's probably because we're pretty much right at the halfway point in the game. I think all of us are feeling it a little bit, where we're just going, all right, that's enough world building, that's enough character development. Can we get into the crux of the plot now, please? It's just been going a little too slow for a little too long. We're waiting for things to really get moving. So here's hoping it does actually happen. Otherwise, because like at the moment, I'd say this is a pretty like 7 out of 10 kind of game. But if it's not able to pick up, it is going to drop quite a bit in that rating, which would be disappointing. So keep my fingers crossed. I'm sure Hunter Earls recommended this game for a reason, so I've got to have faith in that.
It's definitely not like that, Isaac, I promise. Besides, I serviced myself enough last night anyways.
Phrasing, Clace. Phrasing. That's, moving right along.
What?
What?
Oblivious. Okay. And see, it's for moments like this where it's like, okay, there's a little bit of payoff. That's worth it. That gets me re-engaged with what's happening. We need a little bit more of that, please. Clay stands up and wobbles, like the booze hit him all at once. I jump up and wrap my arm around him. He seems pretty embarrassed.
Delta, just the person I wanted to see. Mind taking me back to my room for a little chat?
Oh boy. I nod.
Whoa, I'm kind of jealous.
Guess you'll be raising your hand next time too then, Delta.
No, we're not getting up to any funny business.
Oh, it's not like that, I promise. We've just both made big moves, you know? It helps to talk with someone in a similar situation.
Which character do I like the most? I would have to say Isaac is a good character. I kind of like how he's interwoven into the narrative. He's definitely the one that's pushing things forward, but I wouldn't say he's the most interesting. I like Dante. I like his quips. I like his kind of like take on things. He's the character that we're pushing as the love interest, I think. I definitely agree. I wish there was more to do. It's just like the moment-to-moment player engagement is lacking. There's not enough choices, branching paths. I mean, it's a very story-focused game, and it does that very well, but that doesn't necessarily make for an engaging experience.
I was only joking anyway. Sorry if you're having a hard time.
It's okay, Taylor. I know you well enough by now. Anyway, guess we'll see you all tomorrow?
Everyone looks at each other, and then Dante grins.
Raise your hand if you want to go pass out.
Already? Really? The night was just getting started.
I think it's a good time to cut things short, actually. That walk home really took it out of me.
Yeah, the voice acting is actually pretty darn decent, to be honest. If the voice acting weren't at the level it was, I don't think we would have carried on with the game, to be honest.
Yeah, and the anxiety certainly didn't help. But this was supposed to be a low-energy night anyway. Gotta conserve some of our power for New Year's Eve.
Boring.
Yeah, I have to agree with Sander. A lot of this stuff isn't moving the story forward. It's just establishing characters, the relationships between them. We're learning a bit more about them. We are getting a little bit more of like the world building, but I would also argue that the halfway point in your game, the world building should be done. And you should now be in the plot development part where you're setting up, well, what are the main story beats that are going to happen in Act 3, because there seems to be, I think, 4 parts, basically, to this game. So Act 3, I assume, is where the majority of your tense moments, your major story beats, the developments should happen, and then Act 4 is going to be seeing the outcomes of them, maybe a couple little bit more choice here and there, but it should be the resolution in the final part where you get to witness the outcome of the choices that you've made. But yeah, by Act 2, we should already be making some choices to set up the core events that happen in Part 3. But at the moment, we're still just doing world building and character development that should be Part 1 kind of stuff.
It's 4 days away, man. We can go back inside to hang out, but I'm all done partying. Wouldn't want to have too much fun without Clace and Delta anyway.
Fair.
Everyone raises their hand as if agreeing with Dante's earlier prompt. Empty beer cans are thrown in the recycling bin before we re-enter the house, because if we threw them anywhere else, we would be docked social credit points. As we all split up, however, I stick with Clace and take him to his room. My curiosity has piqued and I wondered what he wants to talk about. As we make our way to his room, the chatter and laughs fade into silence. It's replaced by vibrations in my pocket. They must be using the group chat. Your name's not that long and it's not showing up in the group chat. Just a reminder, your name appears as Kazaralakara Bangwasholi. So it's kind of long, but I think something is set up on the chat at the moment where it is reducing them to just like a ... or something like that. So yeah, I'm not quite sure why yours isn't appearing specifically, but yeah, your name is potentially longer than you think it is, my friend. Alright. It's replaced by vibrations in my pocket. They must be using the group chat. But right now, I had more important things to take care of. Wink. Alright, so we've probably got a couple more story beats to get through. We'll have a conversation with Clace. There might be one more scene, and that happens like the next morning or something. But I think we're getting close to the end of this little act between part 1 and part 2. Also, yeah, apologies. I probably absolutely butchered how your name is actually said, but hopefully you kind of understood. Alright, let's see what's happening here. We don't have sexy sax. This is more calm, reflective music. As soon as we enter the room, Clace makes sure to shut the door behind us. A few moments later, he turns around to face me. He looks completely sober. Was he acting? Was he just acting drunk because he wanted to get away from the friendship group or something?
Sorry, I wasn't even really that drunk. I just needed to get away from everything, you know?
I'm not sure I know, so I just shrug.
Don't you find it all a little suffocating, Delta? I mean, this fresh start could just put you behind bars. And my little hiatus, instead of inspiring me, could end my career.
Yeah, I trust that we'll come out on top. There's no need to worry.
I wish you could spare a bit of your confidence. Tonight was just one panic attack after another. Argus could be waiting around every street corner.
Well, you did a pretty good job of staying calm and collected, to be honest. Don't think any of us suspected you were feeling that way. Takes out his phone and unlocks it. Furry VNs are in a weird place, you feel. A lot of the ones that apparently have the best writing can't be played on YouTube for 18+ reasons. Yeah, I could definitely see that being the case. So it's kind of nice that this one doesn't fall into that range, although it does have like a lot of sexual connotations and things like that, but it is definitely a little friendlier. He also said, a friend told me. Yeah, I still love that when I did the review of... Oh, what was it? It was the first visual novel that I had on the channel. The one which was definitely not an adult visual novel. Oh god, what was it called? It was Doki Doki Family. That was it. That one got some interesting comments on it for people like, yeah, my friend told me that if you look it up on this website, it's under a different name and is most definitely 18+. But it's fine. The Steam version was safe. Yeah, the one that's just a porn game with the NSFW stuff patched out. It absolutely was. But the Steam version was different, and I still maintain that it was under a different title, different name. So technically, different game for all intents and purposes. He takes out his phone and unlocks it.
Did you know that Cypher isn't the first group to oppose Argus? I've actually been looking into the history of all this. You know, the fight to make zeros more equal.
Cypher isn't the first group to oppose Argus. Interesting. What happened in the previous one? Cypher isn't the first organization to try? Well, they've definitely gotten farther than any other group, that's for sure.
It seems that way, but there's just no way to confirm it. Any information about the groups before Cypher is impossible to find. I can only see that the heads of those groups were apprehended. And never seen again.
What?
There's not a single mention of them after they were taken in. But that's not normal. It's like a scrub job. And a thorough one at that. I recognize the pattern because I've seen it happen in the idol business.
Something dodgy's happening behind the scenes.
I think we're climbing the wrong tree, Delta. And every moment that passes, we get too high to jump back down. It's more than I bargained for, and I just don't know what to do.
We should trust Isaac. He'd never put us in danger like that.
Are you sure about that, though? Or, I mean, maybe he doesn't know about the danger.
He's not perfect.
We may be smaller scale than Cypher, but we're rebelling all the same. If this doesn't end in favor of the Zeros, we'll be in trouble. I think Isaac is operating under the hope that Cypher will win, but after looking into the history of these organizations, I'm skeptical.
Yeah, we could be getting ourselves in for some trouble here.
It's very likely that Argus already knows who the leader of Cypher is. And I bet they'll disappear without a trace, too.
See ya, Spider.
But Argus won't back
Thanks
down.
for stopping by.
Any investigation, however small, has a chance of being traced back to us.
Well, we shouldn't feel bad. We're fighting for what's right.
But it's against all odds, and that's what worries me. Being a martyr is admirable and all, but not if the people forget you. They could take us out and then scrub our identities from existence.
A little bit harder to do with someone like you, though, where you've already got such a large presence.
In the backyard, they were talking about legacies to leave behind. But we're up against Argus. They can snap a finger and we're just gone. No legacy, no martyrdom. We just messed with the wrong group and paid for it.
See, I'm actually kind of on Clace's side here. I think that this line, there's no sign that we're in any danger, none at all. Well, that's wrong. We had suspicious people watching us at the bar. There's danger everywhere. We're trying to be as safe as we can about it, but we're not perfect. Things could absolutely go wrong.
Well, the anxiety of not knowing is really killing me. I'm just not sure if I'm supposed to be part of this group. If we're all caught, then my career would be over and I'd disappear.
Also, I have to say I'm loving that this feels more conversational because as Delta, we've got a lot of lines that we're contributing to the conversation. I would appreciate it if we had maybe 2 or 3 different lines to go with, even if they all resulted in the same conversation flow, that'd be totally fine. At least as a player, am having some input and it's helping me be more invested in the story. I really don't think Argus is coming after us, Clace.
You don't know how many times I've wanted the turn in Isaac. How many times I've written the text and had my finger over send. It's not easy, living like every day could be your last. It's terrifying.
You're on the verge of selling us out, Clace?
But there's a reason I haven't done it yet. There's a reason I've stuck by your side and everyone else's. I think my instinct to turn and run is just one the label forced on me. Like I said, if we were caught, then my career would probably be over. It says a lot that I care more about my career than I do about myself. They taught me to put that first, since it's the real moneymaker. I'm always scared to do things because of how they'd affect my image. Even if they're things I want, and things I know would make me happy. That's why I haven't turned in Isaac. It's what the label would want.
Wow. Putting your career and other people before yourself. Like, we knew you were kind of selfless, but yeah, have some, like, respect for yourself and your own desires, your own wants.
But it's not what I want.
Exactly. You need to understand what you want.
And I struggle with that every single day. Especially since this hiatus has let me taste independence. Whether we're caught or I go back to work, I'll lose it either way.
Your career wouldn't end if we're caught.
I find that hard to believe. There's not much love in the world for those who defy our leaders. Especially for those who build a platform and use it for subterfuge.
Yeah, but remember, public opinion's with the Zeros, not Argus.
I guess you're right.
If Cypher wins, you could be seen as a hero or a pioneer.
A hero?
Yeah, if Argus loses, then we won't be the bad guys.
I guess I just find it hard to believe that we'll come out on top. But you're right. If the tables turn, we'll be on the other side. I'm only just scared because they haven't moved yet.
Yeah, they will soon. Remember what Hermes demanded.
Yeah, a revolution by giving out phones to all the Zeros. They're giving Argus the chance to do it first, but I don't think they will. I'd hate it so much if Zeros dying of starvation was the catalyst for change.
I have to agree with you there.
Because then, how do you decide how many lives are enough? At what point would Cypher realize it's time to take action? That both sides see any lives as expendable is just awful. But it's the world we live in.
The contrasting smirk, it gives me a playful nudge.
If this all goes our way, I definitely wouldn't mind being called a hero. And it's good that we're close. Every hero needs a good sidekick, right?
Yep, and just like a good sidekick, I am absolutely powerless. I can tell that I've given him enough affirmation. His doubt moves aside, and I met with optimism. It's a trait that was definitely lacking before we started talking.
So, can I trust in you then? If I'm ever in trouble, you'll come to my rescue?
I figured it'd be the hero that rescues the sidekick, actually.
I guess it could go both ways. Then we're more like a team.
Yeah, a team where you do all the work, and I do nothing. So just like any group project, really. He looks happy, but also contemplative.
Every good team needs a name, though.
Hey, Budget, welcome back. Yeah, we're in the bedroom with Clace, but it's just general conversation. We're trying to give him a bit of reassurance. He was freaking out a little bit over the fact that, well, you know, we're doing something that goes against societal norms, and he was having kind of second thoughts about it all. Yeah. I do wonder if these things would be different depending on who you've married. Like, if we'd taken steps beforehand, would this conversation be slightly different? I think possibly. We saw it before in a conversation with Isaac. Every team needs a good name. Every good team needs a name, though. He's clearly having a hard time thinking of a name, so I decided to step up. I am not good with team names. Let's see if we get some choices. Given our interactions thus far, I have a pretty good idea for our team name. The Alcoholics. Remember, lost and clueless. Hold out my hand.
Lost and clueless, huh?
He smiles and gives my hand a firm shake.
Seems to describe a lot of us these days. But I'm starting to see the light on the other side. Maybe Isaac is right. Maybe we will be fine. And even if we aren't, at least I've got my sidekick. Gotta say, always liked the idea of my own knight in shining armor. Thanks for the chat, Delta. I knew you'd be the right choice.
Not a fan of that. Oh well. Yeah, what a name. It's like, am I lost? Or no. Delta is clueless. You're lost. But also, can you imagine, you know, if we're pretending we're superheroes, someone's on the street being attacked by, you know, an armed robber or something, like, lost and clueless, please save me. No, that's not how that works. Not at all. Alright, fish out of water, right?
But getting used to it more and more. If I ever need someone to talk to again, I'll let you know. That diary isn't exactly the best at giving me advice in return.
I nod and smile, sensing that the conversation has reached its natural end. With a quick goodnight, he jumps into bed. I take it as my cue to leave. It could have been an invitation. But on the way out of his room, something catches my attention. His diary is resting on a desk that's placed against one of the walls. Around it are worrying amounts of empty booze and pill bottles. I immediately avert my gaze as I feel like it's none of my business. But then I immediately look back, a little shocked and worried. It was clear that this was taking a toll on him, and I hated to see that. But I can't start doubting him. I have to believe in him and his words. We're a team now, after all. He'd never turn us in just to save himself. At least, that's what I choose to tell myself as I leave him on his own. In an effort to cleanse my mind, I check my phone as soon as I leave the room. It looks like it's business as usual. I don't think anyone knows how Clace truly feels. Right now, the main concern is that Dante left his wallet at the Wayfarer. He certainly seems forgetful, doesn't he? Now that I know more about him, though, I offer to pick it up in the morning. It was a keepsake, and it clearly had meaning to him, despite seeming otherwise. He thanks me, and I return to my room. Like last time, I plug in my phone and stare up at the ceiling, but fatigue doesn't take me. It's replaced by a new wave of worry. I worry about what might happen to my friends. I realize that we're all on the same team. We're in this together. I cling to that feeling of togetherness and hold it deep into a sleepless night. A lost memento, a newfound fear. Yeah, leaving that wallet behind was probably not a good thing. Alright, so we're just about done wrapping this section up then. Alright, back to the therapist. I don't think we've got Spider here anymore. They've left, and I don't think LM is here either. So I might need someone to pick up the Komorebi count if we can remember where we were. Alright, because we're probably going to get more here. We'll see. I sit in the chair, bouncing my leg up and down in a state of anxiety. A restless night. I definitely hate to add more of those to the pile. But a lot of stuff is happening. Stuff I can't even talk about.
Well then, you definitely seem nervous. Is everything all right, Delta? What's bothering you?
Good question. What is the current count? Let's see if we can find it. When was the last one? Scrolling back up to see if I can find when the last reference was. It was 40-something from memory. So we've not had very many in this session. Let's see, we're talking about it there. I can't actually see it. I can't scroll back far enough to be able to find it. I want to say we're at about 47 or 48. Not sure if anyone else remembers. Naive Melody, greetings. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. We are trying to figure out how many times Komorebi's been said because we've lost count somewhere along the line. Whoops. Oh well. I guess we'll just have to wait and see if LM decides to watch the VOD. They can update us next time. It'll be fine. Alright. Just didn't get any sleep last night, that's all.
I see. Bad dreams, perhaps? Those can easily get the better of us.
I nod, choosing to go along with the narrative he creates.
Just remember that they aren't real. Easier said than done, but it's a good starting point.
He scribbles down notes in my file. I wonder what he's saying about me in there. I'm sure he's trained to discern when his patients are lying.
You know, specters of the imagination can easily be our greatest foes. Not quite real enough for others to take notice, yet real enough to be all-consuming.
Yeah, we can just start the count at 42. That's fine.
Try not to let this get to your head, Delta. You've made remarkable progress since we first met.
He continues scribbling notes. I appreciate the validation, I guess.
A lot of people have a hard time adjusting to a new life. It's not exactly easy to leave everything behind, so I commend your resolve.
Come on, say Komorebi. I dare ya. I suppose he sees this as an off day for me, and maybe it is.
This reminds me of an interesting thought exercise. Have you ever noticed how we remember dreams backwards? That final moment upon waking is the one that sticks with us the most. Then we piece it together bit by bit, retracing our steps the other way.
Bold of you to assume that I remember my dreams. Because I don't. I really, really don't. I'm curious to know, is anyone here in chat in the same boat? Like, you kind of know what's happening in your dream in the moment, but within like a minute or two of waking up, it's gone. Or are you someone who can actually remember your dreams pretty vividly? I tend to find I'm more left with just like an emotion of how I felt at the end of the dream. But I very rarely remember like beat for beat of the dreams themselves.
Fragments of lingering memories scattered about, complete yet not quite whole. That is how people describe the feeling of Komorebi. Their visions may be one moment,
There's the name drop.
but they still carry memories. How old you are in your vision is almost as important as the vision itself.
Yeah, Budget Airlines. You know, you have dreams, but they usually leave your mind before they get dressed. Yeah, I'm usually in the same boat, although there have been a couple that have stuck with me that I do remember. Naive Melody, pretty vivid dreamer. Interesting. Ice Fresda, most of your dreams usually end up being deja vu. Lucifer as well, they sometimes hit you months after you dreamt them. Yeah, every now and then I will have a dream which feels important at the time. I don't remember it afterwards though, but then literally like months later, further down the line, I'll be somewhere I haven't been before, or in a scenario with friends or something like that. Something just comes up in conversation. I go, this isn't the first time. This has happened before, and that's weird. So yeah, sometimes you get that flow through from the dreams. Interesting. Okay, so let me just reread that again. That is how people describe the feeling of Komorebi. Their visions may be one moment, but they still carry memories. How old you are in your vision is almost as important as the vision itself. Yeah, I can understand that because it gives you a sense of time. Interesting.
Imagine if your consciousness was thrust forward 30 years. You'd be a completely different person. The way you think and act. Kind of like how your bad dream affects the way you feel right now. But then, imagine that on repeat, almost every single day. You may never experience Komorebi.
Name drop.
But this could help you understand it. And understanding it might help you relate with your friends a little bit more.
He gives me a wide smile, like he's super satisfied with his own words. And you know what? I believe that. There are so many times that I imagine for like a therapist or someone like that. Every now and then you'd like, ooh, I just said something rather profound. Ooh, that was nice. I'm gonna have to remember that one for next time. I'm so clever. The thought of being lost in time scares me and makes me worry for my friends. Being forced into the future, being forced to carry years of false memories, would really mess with your sense of past, present, and future.
I suppose this is where I tell you that you might be cleared as a patient soon. So if there's any final advice I can give you, I feel obligated to do so.
I'm gonna miss our sessions. I mean, I'm sure we'll be right back as soon as like Argus figures out what we're doing and that we're a menace to society. We're gonna come back in for recalibration. Really? I'm actually kind of surprised.
The mental health of my patients is my greatest concern. Unfortunately, there are others who could benefit more from my time.
I can understand that, but suddenly I'm filled with sadness. This was an invaluable resource that I should be able to make use of. It's awful how I can't tell him what I'm really feeling, what I've really been doing. It hurts that I might need the help he no longer feels willing to offer. But the parting gift of useful advice during our final sessions is appreciated. It's what I saw him as in the first place, after all. A mentor figure.
The offboarding process is quite simple. I just need 2 more sessions to determine if my decision is final. A lack of issues to talk about is a pretty good sign in your favor, though.
That makes sense. An apparent lack, more like. I noticed that I've stopped bouncing my leg up and down. It's like my body is at ease knowing I might be cleared soon. If that happened, he'd never be able to figure out what I've been up to. However, my mind is far from the opposite. It's interesting how our body can clash in such a way. Feeling ease but unease at the same time. Is there a word for that?
Moving along, did you see the latest August keynote? A little odd that they didn't talk about the protests.
Very odd indeed. And Naive Melody, I think we would have taken the therapist route if we could have. But yeah, potentially 2 more sessions to fall in love. Who knows? Maybe we can't date them. Maybe we can still have a fling.
Although this nostalgia technology seems quite interesting. Even if it might be decades away, it's still a nice concept. From a purely therapeutic perspective, of course.
That sounds vaguely familiar, yet I can't remember why. Didn't Argus mention nostalgia during their anniversary report as well? I asked him to elaborate, but he's cut off before he can speak. His phone rings.
Excuse me for a moment.
Rude. Should have had that on silence. Come on. He takes his phone out of his pocket and accepts the call. Even more rude.
Yes? What is it?
He looks around the room as he speaks. It's almost like he's frightened by who he's talking to.
No, it's all going well.
Hunter Earls, you get an achievement called Don't Appreciate That if you try to flirt with a therapist. You only get the option to flirt them if you haven't romanced anyone. That's amazing. That's a nice little Easter egg. He gulps.
Of course. I'll make sure that it gets taken care of. No, I wouldn't dream of it. Like I said, it's all going well.
What are you up to? He locks eyes with me. For some reason, I'm terrified. I'm used to seeing him calm and collected. This is very unsettling. But he doesn't look away. It's almost like he's judging me?
The 5th, you said? Very well.
The 5th could be a date, as in like the upcoming 5th of January after the New Year's celebrations. Could be the 5th as in the 5th member of the group. Unless I'm miscounting, because yeah, it's Clace, Chiron, Dante, Taylor, I know 6 in the group, so okay, probably not that then. Probably referring to the date. He breaks eye contact. I feel like I can breathe again. It's clear that this conversation is over as he nods once more.
Yes. Our future. Your way.
That's the Argus Corporation slogan. slogan, motto, whatever you want to call it. He hangs up and then smiles at me. A nervous smile.
Delta,
I gulp.
do you mind if we pick this up tomorrow? I can pencil in another session. Something has come up.
Yeah, there's something you're not telling us, mate. Also, I found his earring and like the little braid that he's got in his hair kind of interesting. It's not something we've seen in many other characters. I mean, it's a nice little bit of personality, but it's not professional. I feel like I don't have a say in the matter, so I nod.
Thank you for being accommodating. I'll make sure that tomorrow goes a little better. Let's hope you get a good night's sleep, too.
Without another word, he looks down at his phone and starts tapping away. I take that as a sign to leave and make my way towards the exit. Can't shake this feeling, this awful paranoia. But I promised I'd pick up Dante's wallet at the Wayfarer. I have to follow through. I wouldn't want to let him down. But returning to the scene of the crime, it's scary. Oh well, here goes nothing. Yeah, something is going to happen. At least I hope so, because otherwise, good lord, when is the plot going to get moving? Question is, are we... Yes, we are doing this scene now before we get to section 3. I enter the Wayfarer, passing the outdated security scan with ease. Good to know that it's not updated yet, in case we ever decide to come back here. It also gives me a sense of comfort that nobody was tipped off last night. We're in the clear. After approaching the bar, the proprietor walks towards me. My heart begins to race. For some reason, I felt like I was about to get caught, like our actions would catch up to us. However, with a friendly smile and a brief conversation, they hand back Dante's wallet. Of course, not without a comment about how outdated such an item is. Odd thing for someone to say when they pride themselves on their outdated aesthetic. I laughed to myself, realizing that everything was fine. I was probably just being scared after what Clace told me about the previous rebel groups. Of course, as I make my way to the exit, everything changes. Out of the corner of my eye, I see somebody standing there, staring. I turn to face them, but much to my surprise, I see nobody there. Huh? My heart sinks to my stomach, but I'm relieved that I was seeing things. That is until I close my eyes and shake my head. It should have granted me clarity. Here we go. Interesting. But instead, I see them again. I think that's a typo. I think... Oh no, it might not be. I lock up in fright and start to tremble. I know exactly what they are. They're an agent of Argus. We lock eyes. They give a sinister smile. In this exact moment, it feels like our link is undeniable. I want to look away, but I'm almost physically incapable. It feels like a chase could begin with any sudden movement, like I'm some sort of prey. I suppose we are with what we've been up to lately. Is this when it comes to an end? A moment later, the sinister smile turns into something more warm and friendly. They tilt their head behind them, as if signaling me to look. It's the back door. The very same one that we used to sneak Chiron in last night. They must know. Then they hold up their hand, and the sight before me almost makes my heart stop. Resting in their palm is a single glistening apple. Are they mocking me? The back door, the apple, symbols of our treason. My treason. There's no way. Okay. I got actual, like, chills from that. Oh. Oh, that's creepy. Okay. We're back in. We're so back in. And the music is just a little off. Yeah, it's the same melody, the same music from before, but it's distorted, it's warped, something is wrong. Just then, someone bumps into me and I stumble back. They apologize and move on. But when I turn to look at the back door again, the agent's nowhere to be seen. A wave of relief crashes down upon me, but worry still lingers. I may be safe now, but that moment changed everything. Perhaps it was meant to be a portent? A warning not to continue. Yeah, that's kind of my hunch, is that actually wasn't an Argus agent. That was a special something for us. We don't have Komorebi, but maybe that was a warning from the future, a vision. It was something. But as far as we know, Argus Corp is staffed by people, not by weird black static. Perhaps the stress was getting to me and it was simply my imagination. Either way, I take out my phone and text everybody. Meet me in the plane immediately. All of you. Okay, that is a perfect way to get us reinvested, I think. Naive Melody. Once again, this game's literally just Steins Gate. The way CERN is handled in the game is the exact same as this game. I haven't watched or read Steins Gate, so I'll have to trust you on that one. I wish with all of my heart what I saw on The Wayfarer wasn't real. But at the same time, with everything going on, it was too important to ignore. In a state of anxiety, I hide in the plane and wait for my friends to arrive. Thankfully, there's plenty of snacks and drinks on the plane. A bit stale, like Chiron mentioned, but satisfying nonetheless. If we ever needed to truly hide, this would be our best bet. I can't shake this feeling though, like, I feel like I'm losing my mind. Was I bottling everything up for so long that it's finally escaping? No, it couldn't be. I'll talk with my friends, and they'll put my mind at ease.
Hey, Delta! Sorry to keep you waiting. Figured I'd round everyone up and drive here together.
Can't believe he convinced me to get in that death trap.
It's not a death trap, it's homey.
If your idea of a home is a torture chamber, sure. Can't believe people used to drive around in things like that.
Like I keep saying, you'll thank me for having it one day.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be integral to the plot later, 100%.
That day is not today.
Anyway, what's up? That text was kind of worrisome.
For good reason. I saw an Argus agent.
You mean just minding their own business, right?
I say nothing.
Right?
I shake my head.
What happened exactly?
Saw them at the Wayfarer when I picked up Dante's wallet.
Oh, I'll take that back, by the way.
I nod and toss him his wallet, and he catches it with ease. They were standing by the back door, staring at me.
That doesn't mean they were after us, though. Maybe they realized someone snuck in there and upped the security.
They stared directly at me and held up an apple.
That is problematic.
That doesn't make sense. It's too perfect?
Remember what I said last week? Argus cracks down immediately. They wouldn't let us wander.
But they also didn't take any action against us. It was a warning. It was a sign that they or someone knows what's going on. But there's been no fallout from it yet.
Yeah, they don't seem like the type to play mind games like this. If they were on our trail, we'd already be locked up.
But don't they have bigger fish to fry? You know, like with Hermes and Cypher? Kind of figured we were small time compared to that.
I feel like they don't believe me. Is it worth the risk to just disregard this?
Oh, we're not disregarding it. It just feels like we're missing a piece of the puzzle.
Come on, like, Delta, describe what you actually saw and you'll get confirmation that Argus agents don't look like that.
Maybe they think we're caught up with Hermes? They could be gathering intel before they act.
You mean during the con next week?
If they want to abide by his timeline, yeah. I really hope we're not caught in the crosshairs here.
Call me paranoid, but I just knew something would happen. Everything was going way too smoothly.
They were probably onto us from the start.
Are we gonna get in trouble?
You might. but I don't know about me. I feel like I'll just get kicked out and go back to my normal life.
You instill us with so much hope.
Just part of the job. But you can't say I didn't warn you about this. Remember, I told you about my vision. Still on the colony.
Oh, the music's changing.
What about Isaac's, though?
Has he actually told you what it is?
What do you mean?
Did he tell you what it is? Or did you just take his word for it?
I don't like what you're implying.
Just speaking my mind, that's all. Don't really have a stake in all this business. I'm only here to enjoy life in the city for as long as I can.
Yeah, you're right. It could have been an unreliable narrator thing, but it just feels off. Like, I feel if it was actually an Argus agent, why would it have done that, like, glitch transition? Maybe to show, like, the intensity of the situation? Like, maybe it's an artistic choice? But it feels to me like there was something underlying about why they didn't just show an Argus agent, or... Yeah, it was presented in a very strange way. Like, for a tech corporation that knows everything about you to just appear and go, I have an apple, I have a thing, like, it doesn't quite add up. Yeah, it could have been just to show the panic in Delta. Maybe this was something that was part of his imagination. Like, he's convinced himself that he's been caught. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to find out.
I won't even consider it an option.
What are we considering exactly?
Clay seems a bit lost in his diary, scribbling notes once more.
That Isaac lied about his vision and lured us into a dangerous situation. Or that he could be lying about any number of things he's said.
It could be Clay's too.
Huh?
Always staring at us, taking notes.
Careful there, Chiron. You're going to drive a wedge between us.
I'm not taking notes.
What are you writing in there then?
It's my diary.
And you won't mind if I take a look.
Chiron walks towards Clace like he's on a mission. Almost immediately, however, Isaac blocks his path.
Chiron, stop. That's not how things work around here. In the city, we trust our friends until they give us a reason not to.
None of you see any reason.
I don't really see one.
I don't think we're being deceived, Chiron. If we get in trouble, it's just because we slipped up.
Chiron scoffs.
You trust too easily. It's a recipe for disaster, but I'm the odd one out, so I'll take your word for it.
Good. Just calm down, everybody.
I noticed that Clace looks terrified, clutching his diary to his chest.
Everything is gonna be fine. I promise. Delta, what you saw is alarming, but it's not a death sentence.
Still loving death sentence highlighted in red. Be like, just a heads up, this is what's coming in your future.
How so?
We're still safe. We can keep it that way. From this point on, we don't leave each other's sides.
Naive Melody, what weird stuff do y'all think's in that diary? It's going to be nude sketches of all of the main cast of characters. That's why he's reluctant to show it to everyone else. Nude sketches.
Ooh, does that mean we get to sleep together too?
Taylor.
Not the time.
Sorry.
If Argus is watching us, then we can't split up anymore. In fact, letting Delta go get your wallet was probably too risky.
He looks at Dante, who simply nods.
Works for me.
What about my streams?
We'll just chill in your living room or something.
And Delta's counselor sessions?
We can wait outside. I said we wouldn't split up. We'll all still be close by.
I like the sound of that, actually. Makes me feel a lot more safe.
Then I get to come to the Quantum Leap?
I suppose you do.
Seems like a win-win to me. Maybe hook me up with that group chat too?
Well, it seems like we don't really have a choice.
This is all happening so suddenly, but seeing that agent was sudden too. Sticking as close together as possible makes sense, at least in my head. We could all be on the lookout and we'd be a bit safer. Reminds me of those dumb characters in horror movies that always split up. It's a lot easier for the enemy to take us down one by one. Comparing my life to horror? Fantastic. I also don't think that one of us is a traitor or lying in any way, but sticking together would eliminate the possibility of shady activity. If we all kept tabs on one another, it'd be a lot harder to do anything malicious.
But we need some ground rules, just in case this agent thing is actually real.
Actually real? What do you mean?
I mean, I hate to say it, but we didn't see anything. We just have Delta's word to go off of.
Are you saying Delta's lying?
Oh, you're accusing me now. Cool.
No, perhaps they're just mistaken. I've been on edge a lot lately too, you know. Definitely thought I saw some stuff in the corner of my eye.
I did consider that it could all be in my head.
That's fair.
But that doesn't mean we shouldn't be cautious. If anything, this can just push us toward a better overall plan.
What did you have in mind?
Yeah, Delta starts sort out event. Oh no. Also, I am looking forward to playing the Among Us style game that's coming up soon. It's called 1-2 something. Yeah, let me check that. What's it called? 1-2 Blame, coming up soon. We're going to make a game night of it over on the Discord, so that should be fun.
Well, bathroom breaks, separate beds, and stuff like that. We can still give each other alone time, just in different rooms. The security in all of our houses is good enough to make that happen.
Okay.
True. If anyone comes near my house, I'll know about it.
Mine too. So those should be our safe spaces.
And this plane?
Could be risky. In our homes, at least we're in control. I have no idea what's going on beneath the surface here.
If they could hear us in this plane, things would have ended a while ago. Remember, this is where you told us your grand plan.
Maybe that's what tipped them off.
And remember who suggested that we come here?
He tilts his head towards Clace.
Chiron, you need to stop pointing fingers. We're all in this together, and we'll keep each other safe. Besides, I know Argus will give in to Cypher's demands.
You sound so certain, it's almost coming off as cocky.
Yeah, what if Isaac is actually, called either Hermes or Cypher? Could be one of the two.
That may be, but I really believe it. And we can't get in trouble if this all goes our way. Like I said, we'd just be ahead of the curve.
Then we just need to buy time until Hermes' deadline.
I suppose so. It's what we would have done anyway.
Then what's the next step?
We should go to my place. Like I said, the security is top-notch. You know how much I value my privacy.
Yeah, don't want those wild fans to come knocking.
We can talk more about it there. This was all so haphazard, but I think it's a good start.
We all look at each other and nod. Even in this new situation, it feels like we're back to square one. I just have to hope that this ends in the favor of the Zeros and, by extension, us. Because if what we did is no longer bad, then we'd be in the clear, I think. But I remember some earlier discussions that Argus may have already decided in secret. If that's the case, and they're also watching us, things could already be over. Ooh dear. Alright. How much more we've got to go? Hey, there we are. Part 3. Hard to find, easy to lose. Alright. Hey, there we go. And now Chiron appears here as a selectable character as well.
Welcome to the third fragment map. This one functions exactly the same as the previous two.
Thank you for explaining that.
With that said, please continue enjoying your experience.
No, I refuse. We're gonna quit. Alright, we made it to map 3. Go us. Okay, this... okay, seeing some interesting things behind the scenes here. So this is probably going to be Taylor's place. This is back as a therapy session. This looks like it's related to the D&D campaign making a comeback. This is the Argus Corporation shop. That's back at home, and that's out on the streets. Okay. So we're going to get some interesting stuff. This one will be a slow one, but we'll get some interesting bits and pieces going soon. Nice. All right. That means, though, we are going to be ending the stream here. So very sorry, but that's still good. That's almost a 3-hour stream, to be honest. And it does seem like we're doing pretty good. Like, we're getting through either the main fragments or the big chunks of story between parts in each of these. So we're making some pretty good progress. All right, let's jump back across here. Pop that down and pop this back on. All right. Ooh, and let's just make sure I turn that down, otherwise the music's going to be very loud. Nice. Appreciate you all stopping by. I hope you had fun. It's been interesting finally getting some plot movement here. I am now actually quite keen to get into like seeing where the story goes in part 3. So I think this could turn into something quite interesting. Yeah, second Komorebi counter was only plus. I think we only had like 3 or 4 Komorebi name drops in this one. So next live stream is going to be back with Curse Crackers. Now, just a heads up, I haven't actually decided yet. I might do a stream this same time again tomorrow, simply because there is no review video dropping tomorrow. Unfortunately, with Ty sick, we weren't able to get the editing done in time, so we've pushed the video back a week. So yeah, I'm gonna see how we go. I haven't got my day planned out yet for tomorrow, but we might end up doing Curse Crackers tomorrow. Curse Crackers? No, that's not what it's called. Is it? Getting myself confused. Yes, Curse Crackers. We might end up doing that tomorrow. If not, it will be the following Saturday. So we're basically going to have a little bit of a break, and then we'll be coming back to Komorebi to finish that off. Once we finish both of those, we can finally get back into the actual spinning the wheel for the next game to feature. And funny that you just mentioned Panda update, Gray, because guess who just wandered into my room here? Hi, do you want to come say hi? No? No, you're going to run away. Okay, perfect. It's just this typical thing where she'll be like, hi, I want some attention now. I'm going to come into your room. I want attention. And then just runs. Thanks, Panda. Love you too. Typical. All right, hang on. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. The best part of the stream is when the cats appear. I mean, let's be honest. She's way more attractive than I am. Yeah, you. You little jerk. You had to run away. You had to scratch things. She'll come and fetch me every time her little heated blanket turns off. That's usually why she comes in. She's like, excuse me, the heated blanket's timed out. You're not doing your job. Come on, keep me warm. Anyway. She's doing well. She's always loved and cared for. I think on that note then, thank you very much everyone for tuning in. Yeah, we'll let this one play us out. Thank you very much everyone tuning in here. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And yeah, we'll see how we go. I will either hopefully see some of you tomorrow if we do an extra live stream. Otherwise, I will see you next week. And until then, take care everyone. See you then.